Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 15 of The Good, the Dan, the Florida Man. We are your hosts, as always.
I'm the good, and I'm sitting next to Ahmed, who's sitting next to Ben, as we all sit together. And
I'm Dan, and I'm just lonely by myself in my bedroom, as always. And Ben?
And I'm Ben. I'm the Florida Man, and I wish I was alone.
oh,
For those of you that are just listening to the podcast, you're not watching us on YouTube or anything, you can't see. Ryan is actually in Florida right now, and he is recording this episode from my bedroom. He's right behind me. Yeah, if you're watching
right
the
behind
YouTube,
you?
you can see him waving.
Yeah.
He's right. Yeah, he's right. I can turn around. And
He's
smack
right
him.
behind you? That's crazy.
I could,
I'm like
yeah.
a villain from like one of those tech movies that came out with those like the MySpace-based horror movies. It's like he's behind you, but it's just me happily sitting here.
I could just turn around and smack the hell out of him if I wanted to. I'm not going to, Ryan.
I appreciate
Yes.
that because I'm definitely trapped inside this little desk I got right here. I'm not going to be able to move. Like I'm just
Yeah,
going to
you
have to
are.
just take a pudge.
Oh, man. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a weird podcast to watch if you're watching on YouTube, because at some point, we're just going to start looking like we're filming from our regular scheduled homes and positions, because we are. It was an interview podcast. We are interviewing a great, super funny stand-up comedian, Beth Stelling, and we were interviewed with her last week, and we're just all together. It's a great cast. I'm still... It's fine. We're fine. Did anything happen to you guys this week, Ryan? Last week?
Yeah, so I guess it's last week for us now, because this week, I can't wait for next week. We're going to talk about being in Florida, which is absurdly weird.
Love it.
But yeah, I was at home. I was in Missouri. Missouri was nice. I got to meet Francis Moten. Beer Bong John came with us. We got to see Haley and Kendra, Pegmaster.
I'm gonna be real, the audio is bad. On your guys' ends. Yeah.
Wait.
I'm hearing a lot of Ryan.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. So kind of what's happening is that, like, the recording is going to sound fine.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
The
Sorry, I
audio
wasn't
between-
sure. I was like, this might
Yeah.
be bad.
No, the audio's going to sound bad. But yeah, no, the recording's going to be good.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I can get it to be like, hey, the microphone for OBS is only picking me up most of the time unless Ryan gets really loud.
Never happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I was like,
but,
I don't know if we're recording
I can
that,
actually,
but that could be horrible. Yeah.
I can actually adjust.
Can you noise gate me in there for our wonderful human?
Kinda. Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you, Ryan. I
No, that's
just
okay.
wanted to make sure.
No, I know. Yeah, I'd rather you do it and like us.
Because I want to hear your jokes, dude.
Oh,
You're a funny guy. You're a pretty funny dude.
Oh
So-
my gosh! Thank you so much. I have like tried my best out here, but we'll see how it goes. I just love the fact that this exists. I'm gonna put this around my head. That's sweet. As Ben said. Oh, okay.
He's gonna fall
I
asleep
love-
and then sprint off the podcast. Yes,
The
you're doing the right thing,
Guys,
Ben. Get
Just
Ryan
wake
to
me
fall
up
asleep.
during I gotta be honest with the headphones on. Is making it too much of a problem. But
This is actually how I cancel Ryan.
as I fall asleep during, you're noise canceling me.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, unless you get really
He
loud.
finally did it. Ben canceled
Ben,
Ryan.
Ben finally just said enough things about me.
Yeah, the guy on the podcast that believes the least in cancel culture is the one that's actively trying to make it happen. Using noise gates.
The power of noise gates.
The power of noise gates. Presented to you by Amazon.
I almost fell off a roof, by the way. I feel like that's what I'll talk about when we get back into the... Yeah.
Oh.
That's pretty normal, though.
Yeah, just fall over.
Look, here's the thing. So many things have tried to kill me that at this point, we're just trying our best. The problem is homeschool
To stay alive.
Yeah. Like giving it my best shot. Is it good? No. Is it trying? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's okay, man.
Multiple things have attempted to take my life, but
They really have.
Every day Ryan almost dies, and he's just on this podcast like, I'm doing my best.
I'm doing my best.
I'm trying real hard to stay alive for you guys. Thanks.
Real, genuinely, I was like, come on. Either that, I will be honest though. If I died, the podcast numbers for that next week would go up crazy high. You know?
I mean,
Yeah, it would have to be an in memoriam,
yeah, it'd be
and I
real
would
sad.
still do my news section.
Can we just bring Ahmed on instead? People might honestly just prefer that, to be completely
And
honest.
not mention it.
Yeah, not mention it.
It's
This
like,
is just
yeah.
like it's either
We'll start
Ahmed
calling
or
him
it's just
Ryan.
Jess, and she just goes by Ryan from now on.
The good, the Dan, the floor. It still works, I guess.
I think I just got it, Dan. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh,
The
you
good
guys are
has
the worst.
died.
Okay.
We only have the bad now.
Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much it. Almost fell off a roof. Here's the thing, like the roof that we were going to use, because Francis films all of his stuff on roofs. So we're like, let's go to my roof. And my roof's pretty steep, I learned. And I was like pretty far out on the roof. And then all of a sudden I started falling. And I was like, and he goes, is that a regular tremor or are you, you know? And I was like, I'm fine. He goes, by the way, it's like a 16-foot drop to rocks, like boulders.
Yo, that's fine.
And so I was like, nah.
Only 16?
Did you have?
Yeah, but I think I
Did you
could
have Francis's
jump far enough
blanket?
to
That's
land.
not even
protect you?
3 of you.
Right? I was thinking I could probably jump far enough to try to hit a tree. That was my game plan. And then he was like, come inside, because Francis was sweating, because he was like, because his roof is super flat. And I was like, yeah, buddy,
Yeah.
I'm coming inside. So yeah, that was my day in the week. Got to collab with a bunch of cool people. Loved them a bunch. I found out that Francis was super allergic to my cat when my cat fell asleep in his lap. And I was like, why do you look uncomfortable? He's like, I'm just super allergic to cats. And I was like,
But so sweet.
No.
He would
but he's
not
such
move
a
it.
nice guy that he said nothing. He said nothing at all.
He didn't want to move the
He's just
cat
like,
that
I'll
was
die. It's
actively
okay.
murdering him.
Yeah, right. This is the man who, if someone stabbed him, he'd apologize to them. Like, that's what happened. Dan, what happened in your week, though?
Speaking of cats, my foster cats went back home.
Oh,
Oh,
Yay!
sad. I mean, yeah, kind of, yay. Kind of,
Alright,
yes.
I
I'm
just
ready.
Take
I
an
was-
emotion and go with it.
I
until
was
people
very happy. It was nice to wake up in the morning, not with the screeching of a meow at my door. But I do miss
like
them. I miss
fun.
how cuddly and cute they were at times, but I don't miss how crazy and just
Loud?
crazy they were. Loud, yeah. So that was my week.
Yeah.
Basically,
I mean,
that's
they're
the
in
most,
a good home now, though.
a really good home. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
We'll see
I'll
how
wait
it
for everyone.
goes. We're waiting on updates. Ben, how was your week? You do anything fun and interesting?
Yeah, I actually got to open for Frank Caliendo this week at Side Splitters in Tampa, and we did 3 shows together, and it was great. I did not know that Frank works clean,
Oh wow.
and he did not tell me until after the next day. Like there was one show on a Tuesday, and then we had 2 shows on Wednesday, and he tells me like Wednesday morning, he's like, "Hey, got some messages from fans. They loved you. Think you're really funny. Could you not curse so much? Just cut that."
Oh, my
And-
gosh.
I was like, "Yeah, Frank, I can work clean, but if you don't tell me, I'm not gonna." And so I did the next 2 shows. It was clean, but it was really funny. It was really interesting. I was like, "Frank, I didn't know, man. I would have immediately."
Yeah.
Oh.
But you always get given that heads up, because if you don't, that's
Yeah.
not fair to the comic.
They were fine. They liked it. Maybe not all of them.
The majority like them.
I think most of them okay, so this whole episode has been a little discombobulated. We totally skipped the actual intro of the episode. We are 3 stand-up comedians who had to shut down because of COVID, so we turned to making a podcast together because that's what the world needed. It was 3 more white dudes on a podcast. Welcome.
We
to
literally have
Dan Florida,
a person of color sitting next to us, and he is saying nothing.
We didn't
He's
have
just
any.
letting this happen. To be fair, he's in my house playing my Nintendo Switch right
And he's my roommate. So that's what I'm and it's his birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday!
So yeah,
Yeah.
he's allowed to say whatever he wants, day only, and then right back
Oh,
to
God.
tomorrow. No more birthday. Someone's gonna listen to this. Ben's not joking.
This is
he?
going to be someone's first podcast. They're going to be like, oh, God.
This
Yeah,
is the
they
tone
haven't
we're
been
sitting?
introduced.
Yeah, this is the tone.
I love the energy we're creating in the studio right now.
Me
Anyway, since we are comedians, you still have chances to see us out in the wild. Ryan, do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah, on June 24th, when I get home, I'm going to be doing my new hour, the first time live at Flappers in Burbank, and I'm stoked to just be able to flush that one out. So that's going to be nice.
Hooray.
And then after that, I'll be headlining the DC Comedy Loft in November. Tickets go on sale in July, so we got a minute. But yeah, it's going to be a fun place to do. Dan, what you got?
Booked shows, I have the Soliloquy Showcase. And I'm currently writing jokes for that on August 6th. I don't remember the venue right now, but it's a venue, and it's good. It's a great venue. Oh, fantastic.
I can't
really
imagine
good
that
place
would
for
have
you to
heard
come
it
watch
and written it
people.
down.
Wait, what?
You can't imagine you would have written down the name of the venue.
You'd be surprised. You'd be shocked. I am very unorganized. But yes, I am doing the Soliloquy Showcase on August 9th in Salt Lake City. I can't remember the venue, genuinely, so I will get that in the next podcast. Other than that, I am currently, as I've talked to Ben yesterday about it, only just now starting a comedy club, potentially. So, we'll see how that goes. That will be my own passion project, but more updates to come when that actually goes somewhere. So,
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Ben, what shows you got coming up?
I have some shows coming up. July 23rd, I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia at the True by Hilton Atlanta Gallery at Ballpark. August 13th, I'll be in Tallahassee, Florida at the Crumbox Beer Garden. Both of those shows are actually out, so I don't know why. But August 21st, I'll be in Boca Raton, Florida at the Boca Black Box. There are 2 shows there, and they still have plenty of tickets left. August 22nd, I'll be in Wesley Chapel, Florida at the new Side Splitters at the Grove. 2 shows for that one as well. The late show, I believe, only has like 10 tickets left. So if you want to go to the late show, which is only like 7 p.m., get those tickets fast. If you want to go to the early show, there's still plenty of tickets available, so please buy those up. And then the podcast has a show coming up. The Good, the Dan, the Florida Man tour is officially hitting the road with one show in Morris, Minnesota, at the University of Minnesota Morris, inside, I believe, the Student Center. That is going to be on August 28th. The show is free to attend and open to the community, so everyone can come as long as you
everybody
just write
in
that stuff down and show up.
Side note, did I tell you guys? I know I told you guys this, but I don't think I told the podcast yet. I found out later, after we'd already booked this, that a buddy came to me and he was like, "Hey Ryan, I want you to stand at my wedding." And it's one of my best friends. It's actually the guy that got me onto TikTok, and he was like, "It's August 29th," and I was like, Oh, no. So I found a flight that leaves out of Fargo, North Dakota at 6 a.m., lands at 10:08. The wedding's at 1. And so I'm going to make it.
Look. Did you do all of the time zones correctly?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you for asking. It's a very good question.
Do you think it would help if you just, like, as soon as you got off stage, we knocked you out and just sent you on your sleep sprinting way?
Honestly, probably.
My entire goal for that night is to get just Ryan super drunk to see what he does at the wedding.
A wonderful monster. I like that.
I'll drive. I'll be the designated driver. I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's just so funny to me that it's like 6 a.m. I probably won't sleep that night. I'll probably just like get like.
Hey Ryan, before you get on this plane, try this brownie real quick.
Right. I love sweets.
It's infused with bourbon. Aha! I got you a trick. You thought it would be weed.
A trickster in our midst.
Oh man. Okay, so that is our regular intro. I promise that's how it always sounds. With that being said, episode 15 is an interview episode, and I'm very excited to interview my friend and friend of the podcast and talented comedian Beth Stelling. Before we introduce her, if you guys haven't seen any of her clips, here's a clip of Beth in her new hour special on HBO Max called Girl Daddy.
That always cracks me up when a dude chimes in with like, "She trapped me with a baby." Impossible. You have the missing ingredient. And we love to bake, you know. If I had all the ingredients for a cake except for the sugar, and then you, what's your name? Jeremy? Brought over the sugar, we'd be like, this cake wouldn't be possible without Jeremy. Thank you so much for this cake, Jeremy. 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 That's right. What I'm saying is men are garbage. But women are the can. Okay, so we're in it together. sometimes you have to flip us over and shake us for us to let go of garbage.
And now, very happy to welcome on the podcast, Beth Stelling. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. I just want to know, before we get into like the rest of the podcast, how's Jeremy doing?
I really thought, okay, Jeremy, for those who might not know, well, did you just hear a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the clip played right before you came in here.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know that Jeremy's girlfriend, I think it was, she has reached out, and she wrote a comment like, I'm Jeremy's, I think, wife or girlfriend.
Female partner.
Yes, and since I haven't been able to find her again, but on my website I do have shirts of Jeremy written in P. But I'm not kidding you. No one's got one.
No one?
I mean, I did for myself.
They didn't like P merch? No.
It's funny. If you guys have seen,
I want to send Jeremy his own T-shirt, but I can't find him again.
there is a 0% chance that Jeremy is watching or listening to this podcast right now. But if he or his mysterious female counterpart is listening, buy the P merch. No,
Yes, buy the P merch. I want to send it to you.
The
Jeremy.
podcast will buy the merch for you.
Yes.
Just
Honestly,
reach
you
out.
just need to get in contact with like Kink Talk, and you're good to go. It's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Those are really take off.
I
Can I get it? Can I get it in Maria as well? I'm like,
no. Yeah, let me pee on the shirt real quick and. All right,
yeah.
Beth.
No, but the funny thing about that joke is just like, up until that night, like the name always changed. Like I always picked somebody to talk to, and sometimes it was like Ryan or Ahmad or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You said my name and then my roommate's name, and I don't know how to fit. Like that was some wizardry stuff there.
I was
man.
about to say something.
That was wild. Man, we gotta. She knows.
You know, yeah, she was actually the person in your parking garage the other day that saw you sleep sprinting, and she just knows.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Someone does claim to have a video of that, and I am concerned.
No.
I wasn't wearing a lot. But yeah, because if I slept in full clothes, that'd be a sociopath. You know what I mean? Like that's anyway.
But I don't know.
You're kinky.
If you sleep in a morph suit, it might be something really cool.
That makes it so much scarier if I'm unconscious running towards people in a morph suit. Like, I'm easily scarier than the 2016 clowns, like the clown apocalypse or those.
I tried to find those. Look, that's a whole another tangent. We are not the most focused group of people on a podcast at all.
No.
But anyway, that if you have seen any of our podcasts, then you know that our favorite time of the podcast is what we call story time.
Story time.
So, do you have any fun, interesting, silly stories that happened to you that you wouldn't mind sharing with three strangers on a podcast?
Of course, I would love to. I was thinking like maybe some little road tales, because the truth is, you know, I have storytelling in my stand-up comedy. So like I'm used to making a story, you know, beginning, middle, and end, and have it be very colorful. And but these will just be like little tales of the road, because, you know, sometimes things happen to you and you're like, well, I'm not gonna
Some
write a bit
things
about
are
that,
meant to be kept in the heart and not on the stage.
Yes.
This is funny for me, but everyone else is horrified. That kind of thing. Like just yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it does take a minute to see what people do want to hear. When I first started, I would tell some dark stories, and I remember somebody coming up to me afterwards and saying, "You need to get help." Where I was, probably like, dang it,
I think
Vernon Hill.
That could have been
Zany.
said to any comedian after any set, and they'd be like, "Yeah, probably."
You're right, but this is cheaper.
You have to grab their shoulders and be like, "Can it be you?"
If it were
fix me,
my go-to response after people say something like that to me at all is like, "Dad?"
Yeah, so I was like, you know, I have no desire to tour lately, but I used to tour all the time. And I remember like I had a string of shows and I needed to go to Chicago first and a couple other places. And then I would go to Calgary, which is in Canada. And so, you know, when you're packing, you're just thinking about where you're going first, really. And I was like, and then also the weather.
I just like the you just took the moment. You're just in case you don't know, Calgary is in Canada.
This is an American podcast, right?
Yes, yeah.
Dan?
I have full experience with people lacking knowledge in geography. I'm like, I'm from Zimbabwe, and they're like, I love England. It's in.
To be fair to them, everything used to be England. So, you know, like that's not, they're not, they're only wrong-ish, you know?
So I was like, I didn't think to bring my passport. And then like the day before I'm supposed to go to Calgary, well, from Chicago, I was like, ugh. Because it's this festival. It's like, you can't like miss your date.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to be able to get into the country without a passport.
Unless you're really nice. It is Canada. They'll just be like, you forgot your passport. Sorry about that. You can go right in, but just don't do anything we wouldn't do, okay?
Couple of chocolates and you're good. But yeah, I what ended up happening is I had a roommate at the time, thankfully, and I was like told her exactly where the passport was. She'd like climb up in my closet and get it, and then I guess my agency found some like man to go to my apartment.
Carry on, yeah.
Yes,
we need a boy man. Like,
I'm sorry.
He looks like a child.
Ryan. Yeah. There was like if we were recasting it, yes.
You're telling me that
fast. It's only when he's sleeping.
She just met you and she's already roasting you like I do, Ryan. How does that feel?
It feels right. I don't know.
So they sent a random, just a person.
I mean, they
Like
paid
a
him.
courier? Yeah.
I guess I paid him handsomely. I mean, yes, I do believe the term is courier, but he shows up, gets the passport, I guess flies to Chicago from LA.
Can we people don't know. So he bicycled. Like this was premium rush. He was a bike messenger in New York, and it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt with a shaved head just going through.
Oh my God, can you imagine if Joseph Gordon-Levitt was like, I have your passport? I'd be like, well, it looks like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm staying here.
So I'm in Chicago at my friend's house, and like it truly happened in less than 24 hours because that's when my flight was. And so I was just like, I couldn't believe something like that could happen or was possible. I mean, like, I guess that's the only time you really need an agent.
That's also part of, like, the agency you don't realize is that there's so many people that just, you know, they deliver the beans and the bullets of the agency, and they're like, this is just a guy, I know you do coffee, but, like, I need you to get on a plane right now. Go to Chicago.
Exactly.
You know how you're a local to New York? Not today. Like, I mean,
Okay,
Isn't
so
that crazy though? That what you just said made me think of something else, but now it's gone from my brain.
See, we used to have very similar like situations in Zimbabwe, but it was always like illegal activity, right? It was like, I need a passport in 10 hours. Get it to me. And they were like, cool, I need a sexual favor and $500. And that was like the way it was done. Right?
Yeah.
Like my driving test, fun fact about Zimbabwe, you could not pass a driving test without a bribe. So you had to bring $500 US with you every single time you had a driving test.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, it was just the way it was done. Like, that was just like the regular activity in Zim was like, hey, by the way, if you don't have the bribe, I feel like you hit that can over there. Like, that was like the whole process. It was crazy. But yeah, I feel like I can relate.
There were a lot of descriptions.
I understand what you're saying. I thought you said bride. And I was like,
also bad.
This is Tammy.
See if you can drive while this woman yells at you that you're going the wrong way.
If you don't bring a bride.
Right, exactly. Married people only.
Okay, so that's a story of like a nice thing that like someone did for you. Granted, they were paid for it, but they did for you before a show. Has there been like weird encounters after a show that you?
Yes.
Of course there are.
Of course. I I mean, I'm like,
I just want to pause
not-
this really quick and I want to preface for literally every human being, especially the women that are listening. Beth told me beforehand that this was an okay story to tell. This isn't Jimmy. I'm not Jimmy Fallon, and I'm not surprising her with like a weird question that she's not comfortable telling. Okay, so put the pitchforks down. Ryan is still the one on the podcast that hates women, not me.
It's the constant reminder. Dang it, Ben.
It's the boy man. The boy man's fault.
But
I'm not
please,
old enough to hate anyone. Look at this face, okay? Like that's.
but please continue with your creepy story.
so, well, there's so many times this has happened. I mean, like, you just kind of get used to it. But lots of stuff has
It's
happened to
true.
me after shows. I remember when I used to hate selling albums because, like, I was so ashamed of my material. And
Aren't we all?
I just mean, like, I was so sick of it. Like, I hated my first album so much. Like, to stand there and sell it was like,
Yeah.
I actually think I'm not kidding. I think I threw away hundreds of them.
That's the same thing with like merch about like a specific joke. You tell it enough because and then it becomes this thing where you like, I have to tell this joke because I have to sell the merch after the show.
My goodness. I
hate the
just,
joke. Yeah.
I've got
Yeah,
4 years of voice recordings that I've never listened to. Every show, I'm like, this will be, what if I say, and then I just never, I'm like, I don't want to hear me.
Yeah. So I'm like standing there probably with albums like, oh God, why am I selling these? And some guy comes up, it was in Madison, Wisconsin, with his wife standing next to him. And he's like, I'll take one. And then he's like, can you sign it? And then he goes, I'm going to use this later. And I'm just like,
No, don't like that.
Okay. So then I was in Atlanta and I was staying, it doesn't really matter where I'm staying. I probably shouldn't even say where.
Well, you're not staying there right now.
I was at the W, so it's like, a nice hotel. And I come home to a voicemail in my room. Kristen Rand was opening for me, so she was sleeping in my room with me because we're like really close friends. And so thankfully somebody was there to listen to it with me. But it was a voicemail from a man on my room phone that was like, hey, I was at the show tonight. And, she's like, I just thought you were like so funny and you're amazing and beautiful. And I would just like really love to show you around the city so I could like come and pick you up tomorrow. And I'd like to take you around. Now, here's the thing. Is that like the worst thing on the planet or like so aggressive and so whatever? It's not.
Yeah, I know, but yes. Right.
But
It's not aggressive, but it's creepy.
Hotel room. You know what I mean? Like it's through technology, it's entered into my personal space, and I'm listening to a man who's like, "Hey, I'm close by,"
And he knows where you're
He
staying.
knows where I'm staying somehow. How
Like-
would he know that?
Is it?
I gotta be
I
honest.
mean, I guess he could guess.
Is it?
I think there's so
Is
many
it-
parts of this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You like guess the room number? You
I-
just,
Like, how many
hopefully
did he
this is
call? The fact that he found you, the fact that your response is "it's not that creepy" means that he's got Ted Bundy qualities. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he
oh, man,
sounded suave.
He found me, but he
it.
sounded
Okay, but I can
so
relate.
nice.
I'm like, wow, a guy's paying attention
Well-
to me. Wow.
What she's leaving out is at the end of the voicemail was like, I'm also 6'4", and so I
Honestly, will do anything for a tall man.
Same.
I'm out. I'm also the only person on the podcast right now that Beth has actually met in person and given a hug to, so I'm winning. You said it's not like the creepiest thing in the world for that message to happen, and sure, but like if this were a fair, it's not winning fattest pig, but it's still a pig in the competition.
Yeah, I just, what would have been better? I'm not saying I don't love flowers. I don't hate flowers, but like flowers and like a note that's like, here's my number.
Yes.
I recognize that.
Right.
Maybe this feels like a lot, or maybe just a note. You don't even need flowers. Just like, hey, but how am I hotel? Like maybe leave it at the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't leave it.
Yeah.
Don't get the room number and phone.
That's like-
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk to me
That's
afterwards.
like, yeah.
Hey, I know it's weird to ask somebody out after the show, maybe, but I could take you around tomorrow. And it's like, well, it's going to be a no from me because I don't know.
But it's less creepy this way.
Yes.
I have to do a show tomorrow. Like, I don't want to get killed.
Right? Because that would ruin the show. The bookers would be so frustrated. Yeah.
I feel like leaving a note at the showroom is like leaving your phone number on like a receipt at a restaurant. You're like, she's not gonna text me, but like maybe she thinks I'm cute. Balls in her court. But instead, he followed the waitress home and then put a letter in her mailbox.
And sure, he could have done guessing, but if he called several hotels.
Makes it worse.
No!
Well,
Several hotels?
Why did the hotel give it out? You know what I mean? Like
the other part.
Well, I'm thinking maybe
the hotel was like, here's her room number.
I'm thinking maybe he just had to leave the voice message at like the lobby, and then they would send it to her, because they're not. I don't think they're allowed to give out the actual room number. But like, can I leave a message for this person?
But if it was his voice. If it was, that's the thing. I'm thinking he finagled it, like, and made that. Because here's the thing: if it's his voice, normally they would take the message and then they would call you and give it to you. Like here's the message. But if it's his voice, he had access to the restroom. Yep.
That, or the guy has the same agent as Beth, and he was like, "I need a favor. Get me a boy, man." He figured out the room number. He was like, "I know where Beth is."
And the courier shows up to the W, sleeping at full speed.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's weird. I hope I have fun stuff like that too. Also, I don't. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Well, I'm from Florida, so I don't fear the death that comes after those things. I'm in it for the story, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You want to be adventurous and you want to meet new people, like, you know what I mean? And I don't
want to meet them in a grocery store.
I want to sign up for a day that might be awful, like.
Yeah, but
because every day for me is awful, Beth. Might as well let it be awful on someone else's account, because then I can just blame them. I want a new person to talk to my therapist about.
I'm still trying to think about what you made me think about the passport, and it's like really tugging at my brain.
You're gonna
think of it, and you're like, well, I'll say that, and then it leaves you
every time.
Worst.
Or am I just old?
No, that's all of us. Yeah,
no, that's all of us.
It's you're
gonna remember in like a couple hours, and then text me like, "Can we redo this? Can we redo the whole?"
Some of the boys were on the cast.
I have a mediocre riff.
But we should get into questions about the real reason you're on here. We just saw a clip of it, have a new special on HBO.
Yes.
It is called Girl Daddy. Mm-hmm. What is the story behind that name?
So I have many nieces and nephews, and the oldest one, Reed, my sister sort of like, manages and runs the household, and he started calling her girl daddy. Like he calls the dad and her girl dad. You're my dad, you're my girl dad. And
does she hate it or does she love it?
I think she loves it, but like it just really, obviously, then that made me think. It just reminded me of my own job title, which is female comic. And so that's basically where the joke started, where it was like, well, if I do have kids, I'm probably gonna only be able to answer to girl daddy because I've been called a female comic so many times. But everybody thinks I'm super sensitive about being like a female comic, and the truth is, like, I still say it. You know what I mean? Like, I still sometimes say it. It's true. I identify as female. I am a comic. It's kind of like male nurse. Is it the end of the world? Is someone to be super offended if you get called a male nurse? No, it's a joke. It's just commentary.
But there's also right and wrong ways to use it. If you're just like on a random showcase and the very male comedian hosting is like, and your next comic is a woman.
Exactly.
But the other aspect is comedy is a very male-dominated field.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's also beneficial to be like, yes, this is a woman and she's very funny and I need you to know that because you're very used to just seeing man after man after man.
Yeah. And I also think too, it's like, I don't know, I've gone through many iterations of interview questions like over the years, like when I first started, I used to say like, because we would always get asked like, what's it like to be a female comic? And some people really hate that question. And when I first started, I thought I would like sort of battle that question by saying, oh, I love it. It's like, it's really beneficial because I stand out. I'm often the only one on the lineup. And so I would kind of say that, but
It kind of came off like you were a pick-me girl. Like, yeah, no, I like it when men say things to me that other women hate. Yeah, I'm just one of the boys.
I love it when the booker comes up and grabs my pigtails like he's riding me like a horse. I think it's one of those things where like you kind of just go through a decent amount of crap, and it was even not as bad for me as it was for women in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. So I think you go through enough crap where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to handle it all right. I'll hang tough. And
sure,
that's that.
Because at that point, you're like, it's going to happen.
You overlook yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like, you don't think much of it anyway. But now, of course, we have this strange, we don't need to get into it. I could talk about it for a while.
Maybe that'll be another podcast. We'll bring Beth on to talk about just women stuff.
Right.
It's just, this whole episode is just to be teaching Ryan to not hate women.
I knew it was coming, but I was the only one out of all of us that's like, no, let's hear it. I want to know.
Well, I think now, I'll just try to say it in one sentence, which is just like now I think a lot of, and not everyone, of course, but a handful of male comics that I've been friendly with over the years or I work with that are just all like, well, no, you can't do anything. And so worried. And it's just like, dude, we handled it forever. Like now we're just kind of saying like, don't smack my ass so hard it takes my breath away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
just ask before you do it. And if I say no, don't do it.
Or just phone my hotel after the show, send me a message.
Yeah.
That's the Hallmark movie I want. Like,
underneath my hotel room door that says, "Can I spank you?" Circle yes or no. Have to go tomorrow. I don't want to spring it on you.
But also, at the same time, just because you asked still doesn't make it okay that you asked that weird question to someone you don't know. Louis C.K., we're going to move on to... whoops. I might bleep that part out. Who knows? So
it's you. No, you won't.
I won't, yeah. I've said way worse. Look... Right now, we're coming up. The special Girl Daddy is actually... I don't even know how this works. Okay. You're eligible for Emmy nominations,
right. So
sort of?
There's like a lot of hoops, right? So many people... And I don't blame them. How would you know the inner workings? But like, usually rises to success... Sometimes they can be natural and flukes, and other times people are paying like $6,000 a month to a PR company.
They're trying to get their driver's license in Zimbabwe. They're just like, here's...
Yep. Take a bride and... and I'm not faulting those people. Like, I understand like the drive and if you have the means to do it.
Sure.
I'm not currently doing that, but I am trying to push for the Emmy nomination. Now, what's in my corner and the steps that take you to get there are HBO Max did submit me for an Emmy. So
congratulations.
My name is in the mix. But step one is for all the Academy members, and I think there's like 24,000 of them in the Television Academy, need to vote on the nomination. So my name's in there.
Like an actual job, Academy member to vote, or is this like a thing? Like, so this is like getting ordained online.
Yeah, like exactly. So in fact, see, this is part of me not like being in the loop or being famous. Like, if I had people on top of it, they would have told me like by March 31st, I needed to register so I could have voted for myself, but nobody told me that. So it's like $200 a year. You're an Academy member, you can vote.
Oh my God.
But similarly to the Writers Guild or something, you know, like not all Writers Guild people vote in the Writers Guild Awards. Like, so I'm trying to encourage people who I've worked with or written for or whatever over the years to be like,
members,
voting June 17th through the 28th. Please vote for me in, Outstanding Variety Special and Outstanding Variety Writing in these categories. I would really appreciate. So I'm just trying to secure the nomination.
Sure. And then you can go and like sit around in a cold room full of overdressed people and eat tiny sandwiches, I assume. I've never been.
Exactly. Whatever they're serving, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
There's also swag bags, right? So you can go and take a whole bunch of like free stuff. I was about to say,
Yeah, get a
I don't
little
know if we're
swag
allowed to do
bag.
Yeah, if they give you a
Yeah,
hotel,
so
start
I'm
putting
looking
everything in the
for-
bag.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those weird things where it's like in so many ways you go, oh, well, I don't care. But it's just like it is sort of part of it. And it does help you sort of progress things in your life and your career. And
Absolutely.
Also, I just want to say Girl Daddy is a fantastic special and deserves that nomination, though. And that's the real tea, is that it deserves the nomination.
And she
I'm
didn't
just
even
gonna
pay
say
us to
that.
say that. It was-
No, he didn't. I'm not a boy man today. I'm not.
I am like weirdly intrigued by the amount of fake power that you can just have for $200 a year by signing up as an Academy member, though.
Crazy.
Like, I'm going to do that right after we're done with this, and I encourage everyone listening to the podcast that has $200 a year of expendable income, just become an Academy member. So the next time Beth comes out with a special, you can just be like, yeah, no, that's an Emmy. Absolutely. Yeah.
That sounds perfect. I got the letter too late. I mean, I think I got the letter in the mail that was like, you're invited to apply. So anyway, look into it and update everyone on.
Absolutely,
like,
I will.
I feel like if you have to apply, it's like, well, if you're in the entertainment world, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, let us know how it goes.
Wow.
But yeah, it is a great special. It deserves a nomination. As comedians ourselves, we kind of know the work that goes into writing just one joke, not to mention a full hour's worth of joke. So could you give some sort of insight to the people that are listening? Like, how long did it take you to write it? And then how long did it take you to, like, after it was written, to practice it before it was ready to be recorded?
Yeah, of course. I would say about 3 years. And of course, everyone's different. Like,
Right.
you know, someone who I've been lucky to tour with and is like such a great friend, and I feel like more of a sister, is Sarah Silverman. And she's someone
fantastic.
and she's also someone who I look up to. And because she will put out a special when she has something special to say. She doesn't have a deal that says you have to put out an hour every year on Netflix. You know, like, she will put out something quality when it's ready to go. And that's sort of how I would like it to be too. It's just not in my nature to write an hour every year. And some people's it is, and that's okay. So I'm just going to be the person for everyone else out there who is more of a collector of jokes and writer.
Yeah.
And,
Once every blue moon.
I like that. Yeah.
So I took about 3 years, and I also have to take into consideration I work very hard, but I'm also lucky enough to write for TV. So I'm not just doing stand-up. I'm also working on shows while I'm doing my hour. So say I weren't doing that, maybe I would have had it ready sooner. I don't know. But my half hour came out on Netflix in, I think it was 2017, and then this one was 2020 when I filmed. So about 3 years.
Yeah.
I will say too, like, it's important for my specials also, I like them to flow. Like, it shouldn't feel like a hard turn on a new subject. So I also, a lot of my work in those 3 years was just trimming the fat and pulling out great jokes that have nowhere to go. You know, they don't fit. So in the flow of the show. So and then expanding on areas, I tag things to death. So I could go on forever, baby. I had to cut tags, like, because I'm sort of like, well, I'm losing them. So
You're 8 tags deep. You guys still like it?
And one of my producers from the Conan team, because Conan produced my special, and one of the producers is JP Buck. He was like, and I did. I added a joke the Friday before, and he was like, if we don't set a date, you're just going to keep adding. So we should just film this.
Yeah.
And then, so I think, did I answer the question? Sort of?
Yeah. How long it took? About 3 years. But how
3
long?
years, and then I ran it heavily. So I left the last OG at TBS a little bit early. Keenan Ivory Wayans was gracious and let me leave a little early so I could start touring, because I set the date for March 7th, 2020 to film. So I spent, I think it started like late November, and then I spent December, and then you have your little break there for holiday time, and everybody kind of shuts down, so you're not going to get time. So it was sort of like a little like whoop, and then wait, and then zoop again for January, February. Yeah. So pretty much January, February, probably did 8 weekends in a row.
Wow.
So like
running
both months full. Every weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
And I bombed pretty hard. I bombed pretty hard at Valentine's Day weekend in Raleigh, but you shouldn't have put that special on Valentine's Day.
No, absolutely not. That is not a Valentine special.
Yeah, all these people in Raleigh coming with like their like partners, like, oh, Valentine's Day, and I'm like, abortion. Yeah. So that was their bad, but
just a lot of men going, I don't know about this one. We'll try again next year.
It was odd. You know, I did feel a change there. Like, I love doing Durham because it's just a little more liberal, and, you know, it's a popular lesbian town, and I just love performing there. And
I like how Dan made a face when you said that. It was really
Pride Month. Happy Pride.
A lot of things, and maybe it's just a lot of lesbians that come out to see me in Durham, but I love it. And,
they are the funnest crowd to have.
I get that though.
Absolutely.
Like having a gay crowd is fantastic. It's so much fun because they're there to party and it's just nice. It's so nice.
Yes, and open, you know.
Yes,
very open.
And so I was in Raleigh this time. My grandma, who was before the pandemic when I was planning the tour, she was probably 100 at the time. She's actually the one who caught the error from my agent. She said, tell me where you're going. And I said, do, like when I was setting up the tour.
Yeah.
And she goes, but Durham and Raleigh are so close. And I was like, you're right. My agent fucked up. So like a mile radius, like you wouldn't hit both towns that are very close to each other because you'll split the audience.
Yep.
Anyway, I just remembered that. But my 100-year-old grandma was like, your agent is not doing it right.
Let me handle it.
Yeah. So, but all this to say, I felt like a tightness, and like when you said a couple of the dudes might be like, oh, it was actually some of the older conservative women who I saw in the crowd when I would talk about these things, looking to their husbands like, should I laugh or are we laughing? You know, like that type of thing. And that obviously irks me. So
it was because they were noticing some of the things that you said in their husbands and it made them uncomfortable?
It's possible. You know what was almost like sad but also validating was, I think a couple weekends after me, Bobcat Goldthwait was there, and he had like, I guess a racist altercation break out in the front row, like a fight.
Wow.
And I'm not saying the reason I bring it up is because I was like, oh, well, maybe that's why it sucked so bad. Like people were like, I was getting more conservative crowds there, and I just felt like pushback, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because if you think about it, even my jokes about what they would call hot button topics should be funny to everybody. Yeah. Like I'm not asking you to change who you are. I'm just asking you to think about it in a different way.
That's such a problem.
You should be able to be open and laugh and then still leave who you are, or a little bit changed, ideally.
And that's the thing is it's like, look, if you can't handle the jokes about the subject, then maybe there's something that doesn't hit right with you and you might need to do some introspection. And it feels like, that's always frustrating when it's like, look, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not making fun of even your topic. I'm just saying, look at it this way. Or like, look at it this way. Because, it's normally just the flip that you're looking for.
Yeah, isn't that my job? Like, if I was just up here saying exactly what you think, then I'm just you with a microphone.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have one.
I would say that's like the hardest thing to deal with. Like so this is a little bit of like context, but I did a dry bar special. But I did it an hour before. They told me, hey, come and film a dry bar special. So I was like, okay, I've got to go film a special. I don't know what parts I'm going to do. I was at the back just like going through stuff. And I remember, because I'd just come out like the year before and started doing material about being gay. But dry bar is notoriously conservative. And it was the exact same kind of reaction. Is I had to like win the crowd back while filming my special, which was such a weird thing to do. Like I had to do this like, I'm gay, and you could see all the faces like just drop. And like you said, like the wives are like, haha, are we allowed to laugh at the gay kid? Are we allowed to is this like an okay thing for us to do? And then I had to be like, but you guys love me, and like all this sort of stuff. And it just felt a little bit, that was the only part that I didn't like about filming that special, was just like, I mean, other than the like lack of preparation, but it was having to win a crowd back while filming is just like, it just sucks because then you just feel like
for who you are, you know. It's sad to me. It's like it takes a personal toll sometimes.
Exactly.
And you have to sometimes weigh that. Unfortunately, you know, the positive thing in my eyes could be that, you know, you put a face to something that they're not familiar with, and
Sure.
and therefore maybe hopefully change some of their perspective. But it also it just stinks a little bit.
You just
It
kind of
doesn't
let
feel
them
like
know that the things they're afraid of aren't actually that scary.
Yeah, but it just sucks. It takes a personal toll sometimes. You know, it doesn't feel good. I've had many of those moments myself. Yeah, if you're a sensitive soul, which so many of us sometimes are too, you know, like it takes a lot of confidence to get up there and be vulnerable, but you know,
You do it, and it's at the end of the day, you just hope it's worth it to someone else.
yeah.
Similarly to what you were saying, I think it's also just important to remember that, like, I honestly love doing comedy now. I remember being so afraid of doing like the gay stuff. Now I love doing gay stuff in Provo, like all of
Good.
Utah. Like I like just being like, yeah, I'm gay, so shut up, listen, here we go. Like I have a whole set about how straight people are gay and they just don't know about it. Like that's my most successful set. Like I always get like applause breaks and everything just because it's like, think differently, be different. And when you're more confident in the material, I think it translates, right?
Definitely, especially as you step just into yourself more, you know, get closer and closer to yourself on stage as the years go on. I think
Discover
too.
your voice and all that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were all making a lot of progress in that. Just every comic that was working hard and figuring it out was making progress in some way, shape, or form until like the pandemic hit. Yeah, and then we all just had to stop. And luckily, you got your special out right before we all shut down.
I mean, I was so lucky for sure. I feel like very, very lucky because I don't know what would have happened to me if I had to sit on it and film it later. Like, I don't think it would have been good. And then
I think what would have happened is what happens with every piece of material any of us make is after like a year of it, you've been like, this actually sucks and I don't want people to see it. And you wouldn't have put it out, which would have been awful because it's very good and we all enjoyed watching it. But how is that for you? Like, so you hit the special, HBO, and then everything shut down. So like, were you upset? Were you relieved because you wanted the break? Yeah.
I was so relieved. I remember them calling me, like trying to set up the fall tour, and I just was like, in my head, I felt like I'll do it, but I don't want it.
I won't be happy about it.
I was like not in the greatest place. I don't know. I was very relieved. I realize that sounds bad. I've obviously
no, you're totally fine. All of us got famous because the pandemic shut down. Because the pandemic shut everyone down, they had to spend time on TikTok. So, yeah, there's silver linings for everyone.
We're everyone's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah,
like, that's what we are to people. Like, just
you love us now.
Yeah. So I felt so relieved, and I was. But I was also actually irritated probably with you people because I wanted everybody to just sit down and
all right, that's our show. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like in so many ways, I'm like, of course, people need to laugh, and like, I want you guys to be there for those people, you know. But selfishly, I was like, could you freaking sit down and take a nap with me? You know what I mean? Like, stop moving around. I just.
If it makes you feel any better, Beth, I've spent the entire past year and a half wanting to take a nap.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, I was just like, please, because there is that competitiveness with comics, you know, like. Even within your scene, and it's like, oh man, he's doing 3 shows this week. Not like a jealousy. It's like I need to get up to.
Right.
I'll push to.
Yeah.
Or this person got that. What? How do I not have that? And you can actually use it to fuel you. Like, I need to get that too. If they can do it, I can do it. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They feel inspired.
Everybody. Yeah, but I took that break and I didn't want to do Zoom shows again with all these things. I understand why people did. I get it. But I just didn't want to do that. And I didn't really, except for like a handful of like, I mean, it's weird to say favors, but I just mean friends being like, it's my birthday, will you please? I go, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah. and they were fun. Like, I can't deny that they ended up being quite fun, because it was like, you always are like, oh, even though this is Zoom, it's like, it is nice to connect with you, you know?
Absolutely.
So,
especially after being not having that for however long it was. You're like, I need people.
But I really thought I would quit stand up. I was so angry with it and upset, and I don't know if I fully processed it yet, but I was just mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was bitter and feeling like I worked really hard on this. This is good work.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't more people see it? Why can't more, I don't know. I just felt like, why is this so hard to access or like get my stuff to people? And does it even matter? Like, does it even do anything?
It was just a good old fashioned existential crisis that we all go through every week.
I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't need to do this anymore. Even when I shut up, like, which especially in light of, everything going on with the civil, like, if you want to call it the civil rights movement, I felt like I need to shut up. Like, I said a lot and I can just sit out. But even when I did that, nobody, I hate to throw y'all under the bus, but the white dudes just kept talking. And so I'm just like, could you, so I was like, even if I shut up, they just keep going. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yes-ish. Because at some point, like, I don't know about you guys, but because TikTok had a blackout, and I was like, okay, I'll be respectful and like let other creators, and took a week off, and then I got death threats for that as well. So I was like, I guess we can't win.
Yeah.
I guess we can't. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh man.
And you guys also have a perspective that I don't understand, for real. Like, that's not something I'm familiar with. I think someone has my TikTok handle, and the bio says, how do I delete this? And there are like 37 followers. I kind of go sometimes and just laugh. But I don't have like a hate. I was never the person who was like, I hate Viners or I hate TikTok. Like, I certainly don't have hatred towards that.
You should
have respect for it.
You should.
No.
Yeah.
No. Think about it. Like, because Viners would come on the shows at the Improv and stuff, and like, the truth is, they could really sell out, and that's a new phenomenon. And if you, as a comic, like me, as a traditional comic, don't accept or change with the times, well, then who am I? So absolutely, I understand and respect, because there is hard. I've seen Ben and his hard work that goes into it. It's not just fluff and crap, So
thank you.
I respect it.
Are we watching different Bens?
Okay. All right, buddy.
Ben, you roast me incessantly. I get one. One roast.
Who runs the podcast?
Right.
Ryan, next time you have to light a match. That's my one.
All you have to know is like who runs the podcast and who runs in their sleep. That's the only distinction that you need.
You're the second coming of Mike Birbiglia, but faster.
Oh man! So where are you now with comedy? Stand up.
I started doing some outdoor shows and just trying to like get back into it. And like I told you, I cut a lot of jokes from my special that just didn't fit, so I'm kind of starting with those.
Okay. I'm
trying to write new. It's interesting. I'll listen back to my old, because I think I'm actually too discerning of my own stuff. Like, I won't give things legs or a chance because I think it's not funny enough.
Right.
But back in the day, sometimes I would be like, my mom just said this, and it would get a big laugh. And now I'll listen to it and be like, well, that's not good enough. That's not even a joke. Mm-hmm. So I'm really like in my head. I'm very judgmental. It's not good enough. It's almost like I've been writing comedy and doing punch up too long. I'm trying to make something like the best it can be, instead of embracing like, you just had a baby, let yourself heal, and then you can start having sex again.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everyone listening right now fully understands that was an analogy. Beth did not actually just have a real live human baby.
I was like, I feel like we might need to talk about that. If you're a child right now.
I know there are people listening.
The unmarried, childless female comic.
There are people listening right now that were like, this is a new thing that I'm just now having to process.
Right.
But think about it. Like, it so depends on when you see a comic headline. If you came and saw me in Portland, late January 2020, I was like, boom, boom, zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to film a special. If you come and see me now, I'm like, You know what I mean?
And I did see you recently in LA, probably
That was so
couple
bad.
months ago.
And you saw me have a bad show.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but part of that may have been because like I'm just actually a big fan of you. But
Ben also likes to see people suffer, so let's keep that in mind as well.
I was
So, like,
but it was.
I have some good ones. I'll have some good ones where I feel like, oh, I'm in it and this is fun. I'm having fun. And then I had that one and it threw me off.
But I saw both. I came to the other one you did like a few days later, and it was
bad too.
Well, okay, that was the one that Greg Hahn was there, and you were just laughing hysterically at Greg the entire time. Like, so much so that he called you out during his set to be like, thank you, Beth, for being here, because some of these are bombing, and you just love these.
He really makes me laugh.
He's really good.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, you were still funny, but it was a different Beth than what I think people are going to be used to seeing if they just watched the special. It's very polished on HBO, and then when you go see you, it's just kind of like, I have this notebook, and you're going to see me look at it a lot, because these aren't ready yet, but they're still funny.
And sometimes like I start standing and then I slowly go down towards the ground and hide behind the stool.
she's sinking. She is. Don't worry.
You literally have a joke where you lay flat on the ground, and I think at some point you just kind of like, I'm just gonna lay here now. This is fine.
You have to see what this person wrote me.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Like a
Allison,
review?
speaking of what you just said,
Oh.
I'm watching your HBO special right now and had to pause it to tell you this very important thing. I'm at the penis to pavement dog pose part. Listen, I don't know how you demonstrated that on stage and then stood back up to perform like you were fine. She goes, "It was 6 years ago. I was drunk as hell one night with some friends and wondered if I could do the pose like my dog could. We called it vag to floor. We later learned that the proper term is sploot, which I also know, but I choose not to use. Okay?
Right.
Smart.
So then he said, well, I attempted it, and the next day I could barely walk without excruciating pain. It went on for weeks. I had to get 3 steroid injections in my spine to be able to walk normal.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
When it comes up in my medical history, I just tell everyone it was a sex injury.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love her.
Oh no.
Yesterday at 10 a.m.
Oh my gosh. I like that the alternative was a sex injury.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, even that's less embarrassing than the actual.
They could have said literally anything to be less embarrassing than drunkenly trying to sploot at a bar. And they went with, sex injury. I am crushing it.
Was that actually hard to do on stage though? Like,
No.
I'm curious. No,
Not even in the overalls?
I was a gymnast for so long. I'm very flexible.
Nice.
I just like
Not to
I can do the
flex.
split.
Yeah. Actually, very directly to flex. I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
The point is, I am very flexible,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I did have to
Impressive.
master. I did have to master because they would definitely ride up.
Yeah.
So you can see me in the special. I had to master the move this leg down with my shoes. Otherwise, it would be like.
I remember seeing you a few years ago. You came to UCF, and you're supposed to open for Dimitri Martin. You opened eventually for 2 guys from SNL. I forget who it was. That part doesn't matter.
Matthew Day and Alex Moffat.
Yes, those guys.
Oh, okay.
And you did that bit on stage, but there was a security guard standing like on the stage in front of you, and he didn't see what you were doing, so you were just like splooting behind him, and at some point you just started crawling closer toward him, and he didn't notice until you flipped upside down and put your head like on his shoulder, and then he was like, what is happening? And then you took a selfie with him.
On the floor next to him.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love that.
I was really using my surroundings because
Yeah,
I used the interpreter too.
So,
Remember,
yeah.
she was like, she was translating my set so people with deaf people could.
And she wasn't even there. She was somewhere else, off location.
So I just started talking to her. I was like, "Where are you?" She's like, "Whatever she said."
I think it was Ohio.
Oh, okay. She's definitely on EST.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
like, here's where I am, and I was like, "Oh my God, how is it there?" She's like, "It's beautiful." I blah, blah, blah. Like she's just typing me back.
And it's just reading the subtitles just on the screen behind her, and that was like 15 full minutes. I think was just Beth having a conversation with this woman who's in a different state altogether.
I love that. So you MacGyvered comedy. That's amazing. Like, that's just so cool. Like, we're gonna bring all the states together. Oh my gosh, it's Ben. That's a good thing. That was a positive.
Thank you. I think I don't know. Look,
I was loving.
We gotta wrap up, I guess, here soon with you, Beth. But just like a couple more questions. One real question, then one very silly question, which you said you would answer.
Yes, I did.
So the serious question is, stand-up is coming back. You're kind of like this or that about it. What else can we kind of expect to see from you next?
Yes. So the truth is I've been writing my own show, developed my own show, and I'm sort of just dragging the lead on it a little bit.
Sure.
I should be working on it right now.
But you're here.
But, I've just been not doing it. I've gotten several emails like, "Hey, can we check in?" And I'm like,
no, sorry.
But
it's a little self-sabotagey. I don't know what's happening, but either way, ideally that will go. That's a story about me and my mom and my sisters, and set in my hometown, and for TV. And I've been, I act here and there for fun. Like I'm in Rutherford Falls, which is this Peacock show on NBC's streaming service.
That's with Ed Helms, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like the mayor of some town that doesn't exist.
For Ed Helms. I'm a horny teacher. Somebody messaged me, "Are you the horny teacher?" I was like,
yes. Who's not thirsty for Ed Helms, though? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. And then I'm trying to think of other things. Like I'm gonna get back into stand-up, but probably just around LA for a little while. I know people are like, "Oh, when are you doing again?" But I don't know what's going on with me. I'm happy to be trying to get back out there a little bit, but I'm just not doing the tour right now at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. So if people wanted to get to see you, if you have shows coming up, where can they find you? What's the best place?
I would just say Beth's. Well, I haven't even been updating my shows on there. So sorry. Well, maybe just Instagram at Beth Stelling. I'll try to post about shows and stuff. But my website's bethstelling.com. If you need a Girl Daddy hat or a Jeremy P shirt.
Yes, or a Bagel Ears shirt, which I'm going to have to order a new one because I have no idea where it went. But yeah.
I wish I could send it to you, but it's a different company that sends them.
Yeah, I fully understand. We'll actually tag all your social media when we post these videos. Thank you so much for answering all these actually probably a bunch of questions you've already answered a whole lot on a bunch of different podcasts.
I like spending time with you guys, and it was fun. So,
hey, thank you.
That's gonna get me through the day.
It's gonna inspire me to get those notes done.
Yeah, please do. I want to watch it. I want to watch a dramedy set in Ohio. I've never had the chance. Other than what? Where was the Drew Carey show? That was probably Ohio.
Oh yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah, we need a new show to replace the Drew Carey show for a comedy that takes place in Ohio. And that's on you. So that does bring us to our silly question of the day, which is, would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak every language?
Wow.
I already have an answer, and I know the rest of you are wrong.
I mean, this is crazy. This is really hard.
Go ahead.
Animals.
The kid me, I love Doolittle. If I could talk to the animals,
yes,
languages. I want to be able to talk to the animals, but I feel like now as an adult, to be able to speak every language, that would be incredible.
Go do specials everywhere.
I'm going to speak every language, just in rational mind.
Okay.
Kid mind would be like, animals, you lunatic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel the same way. I feel like there's certain times where I need to speak all languages, but currently, as a person who has to deal with annoying cats every morning outside my door, I want to know what they want. Like, I want to be like, what do you need? Tell me now.
Your
and have them,
affection.
like, communicate, like, food, a place to sleep, something along those lines. Because that's just been getting on my nerves recently. And I'm like,
I can understand.
patience.
They're like, Dan, we've said it over 1,000 times. We just keep saying food.
I would definitely pick animals, and the reason why is because a lot of people can learn other languages. But if I'm the only person that can talk to animals, that's amazing. That's marketable. Like that's
You're
fantastic.
gonna have a show on Discovery Plus, baby.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm excited for. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna agree with Ryan on animals, but for a completely different and probably just very aggressive reason of if I can get a bunch of animals to join my army, I can just force everyone else to speak English.
oh my God.
It's either speak English or get the tooth, I guess.
You just want to be the British monarchy is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but with animals, so if they try to fight back, there's gonna be a bunch of white women that are like, please don't hurt the animals. They don't mean any harm. And then I'm gonna be like, I talk to them. They absolutely mean harm. They are sick of your shit.
You ever seen a
You know
capuchin
what?
with
This
a goblet?
rhino actually said, I don't want you as an ally, so...
There's gonna be a bunch of animals that are just like, they don't want any part of it, and there's gonna be like a bunch of other animals that are like, yo, silence is compliance, man. Like, you are not even like on the right side of the Sahara right now. And that probably that joke will tickle people the wrong way, and that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, so animals and everyone else who says anything else is wrong. That's just how I do these.
I love those.
But that's it. That's our silly question. So that's all that. Do you have anything else you want to say before we sign off here, Beth?
No, I just enjoyed hanging, and thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Bye.
Yes, have fun on stage, everybody. Can't wait to see your jokes whenever I get to see them.
Sweet.
Bye.
I love that we've done outfit changes, guys. This is crazy.
This is great.
Two
Don't you love
outfits in
that
one podcast? Wow.
I teleported and
Wow.
spawned behind Ben. How crazy is that? Oh my gosh, pretty wild. I even brought Ahmed in the teleporter. It's crazy.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
I
2 for
hate-
1.
Ben's
hate
outfit.
everyone on
I
the
love that
podcast.
Ben's outfit change is adding you to the apartment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I added Ryan, I took away all the lights, and I took my hoodie off. That's all that happened.
I just really want at this point in the clip to just be like, we promise we film on the same day.
All filmed at the same time, based on a true story.
You
know,
based on a true story brought to you by one lie.
Can I actually just say something real quick about that interview with?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys were texting and Ben kept saying, okay, we're going to interview Beth. I didn't know which Beth this was, and you can see it
There's
on the
only one
interview.
Beth.
You can see it on, I know, but I wasn't really thinking that way. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I cannot tell you how my heart dropped when she came on the screen. Like, I was genuinely like, that's
That was my
Beth,
favorite moment,
That's
was
Beth
just seeing Dan
frickin'
starstruck.
Stelling. Like, that was exactly, yeah, it was definitely a weird moment just because I love her so much. And yeah, so.
I'm pretty sure I texted her full name at one point, and you just must have done the thing that you always do, where you don't respond to my texts when I send them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling you guys out.
You were just calling him out, but I felt like I was going to just be quiet and hopefully avoid that.
If the shoe fits, Ryan.
Oh, man,
If
does
the
it
shoe
ever.
fits.
Ben is the only reason this podcast stays alive, just so you guys know. We need to give him full credit.
Which I
He
don't
is the
think anybody
organizer.
would have guessed that.
No.
I am the last person in this podcast people would just actually like aggressively and actively believe is the reason this that cares the most.
Yeah.
But you're killing the game, so thank you for that, Ben. Thank you for making Ryan and I look good. Hey, thanks.
Right? We appreciate it, like, a lot.
It's a lot of work to make you guys look good.
That
it really
is
is.
Gina. Thank you. No. Sponsor us.
We're gonna hop into our next segment here. Ryan's ridiculous history.
Heck yeah! Today we're talking about flying tanks. I'm so
It's
excited.
John
and I'm gonna-
Cena's music.
Yeah.
I love it. That brings me so much joy. I'm gonna try not to blow out Ben's mic with how excited I am about this, because so what it's called the Antinov A40, and so essentially, let me just paint a picture for you. It's World War II. Nazis are a thing. We're trying to make them not a thing anymore.
Well-
The Russians, yeah, well, we are. We're trying at that time.
Yeah, we're still trying.
We're still trying. Hey, they're like roaches. They're everywhere. Anyway,
Ugh,
yeah. So
hated that phrasing.
the Russians are like, hey, well, what would be the best way to kill Nazis is if we could drop tanks on them or at them.
On top of them,
On top
physically
of them, essentially. So there are these things. What people forget is that in World War II, what was very popular is gliders, which is very strange. Gliders are a terrible idea that never have actually been that effective. And what they are is they're planes that are hooked up to planes, but they're not powered. So you can just steer them and then you crash them. That's the whole strategy. I mean, you land them, but it's really a
So
crash.
it's the Buzz Lightyear plan of just like, we're not flying, we're falling with tanks.
That's actually 100% it. That's the most accurate description of this.
So back in 1940, whatever, Americans were like, Toy Story was a great movie, wasn't it? And one guy was like, you remember that scene where Buzz Lightyear was holding Woody and they were flying towards the moving truck trying to get their life back on track? And I was like, yeah, that was a great scene. He's like, what if we replaced Buzz Lightyear with a real Buzz Lightyear, and then we replaced Woody with an actual tank?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah, okay, great. No, love it. Make it happen.
Make it happen. Well, and here's the thing. It was also the Russians, so they did that whole thing with a Russian accent. It was crazy. They must have
Wow.
bootlegged it. But
I like it good.
what's
I'm
crazy
not
is
even going to attempt a Russian accent. I feel bad.
It was really good, though.
Well,
Right there, that little...
that's
Side
really
note, just to let you know something crazy. During the the 1940 occupation of Bessarabia, light tanks were dropped only from a few meters by certain planes. So they were only a few meters off the ground, and they were just dropped. And as long as the gearbox wasn't neutral, it would allow them to roll to a stop. So essentially, they were just dropping tanks uninhibited before this. They were just dropping them out of planes, which is the most Russian 1940s thing I've ever heard in my entire
I
life.
love this so much, and I want one.
Right?
Do you want to...
Yeah, they only
Ryan,
make one of these.
Do you want to build a tank glider with me right now?
Yes.
It is
On
Florida.
that
You can
win?
probably find the parts.
Yeah, honly,
You might as well seize the opportunity,
In the
Ryan.
gutter.
You're only in Florida once.
wait, can we? You know what, Ben? We should really set up a like our own version of MythBusters, except where we just build historical things. Because you've got the building skills, and I at least can do the research, and so it'll just be so much fun.
Did you just suggested a business idea to me by going, you can do all of it, and then I will write stuff.
Well, I
The
will build
podcast.
it. You know, I'll help build it. You're gonna have to tell me what to do. You know what I mean?
I have an idea, right? But I'm gonna need you to do like 90% of the work. Is that okay? Because I know it's kind of like the podcast already, but this is a new idea.
new podcast version.
Well, I just mainly want to watch you guys drop tanks on things, so that would be real fun for
Look,
me.
Oh, I'll just do that because I can.
Straight up, what you need is my enthusiasm for dropping tanks. That's what you need. That's the selling
You
point.
need Ryan to be like,
You also need me to be in the tank. You know what I mean? Like,
The news article is still gonna be Florida man drops tank on Missouri man.
I love that so much. But yeah, dude, so they only commissioned one of these because they were trying to see if it would work. But yeah, so gliders are essentially planes hooked up to planes that don't have the power of planes. And they actually had a really successful glider operation that took place in, the Nazis did. They were rescuing a guy out of an Italian,
Just out of an Italian.
no, like out of an Italian, dude, no.
There was
Out of
a
an
guy
Italian, like,
stuck in an
fortress.
Italian.
I've
Yeah.
been rescued out of an Italian before.
Oh my god. Anyway, they needed more of these. They were like, we need to minimize the exposure of the aircraft, so we're just gonna like sneakily drop in just these light tanks. It was called the T-60, which I think is in the same vein as the T-72, which is Russians have made terrible tanks throughout history. The T-72, they stored their like rounds, like their artillery shells, in a circle around the top of the tank. Which, by the way, so you don't have to pierce all the way through to kill people. You can just hit one of those, and then it just blows up in a circle.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
they were known
an
for getting
awful idea.
terrible idea. That's why if you ever
That's
see a
like
T-72
building-
explode, it pops off.
That's like building a bulletproof vest, but just like right beneath the bulletproof vest, just lots of gunpowder and matches.
It's just
That's
a
what's
claymore
stopping the bullet.
the wrong
Yeah.
way. Like just point towards idiot. And it's just like, hi.
Point towards enemy. Well, I do self-sabotage quite a bit.
I got that. I do too. But yeah, it was. By the way, it was in 1942. They did a test flight, September 2nd, 1942. They were having problems with the T-60's extreme drag. Really? Was the tank not aerodynamic enough for you? Oh.
I don't know if you've ever been on a tank in the sky before, Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
Gonna go to the tank in the sky.
Like, but yeah, so they dropped it. They landed it, and then they sent a tank commander, and he just popped on in and drove it back to base because they didn't get too far. By the way,
What?
Side note, one of the main problems is they couldn't drop people in the tank with it. They'd have to jump
Right.
out because they die. However, by the time the 1970s came around, the Soviet Union was able to paradrop in a BMD-1, which is just this it's like a Bradley assault vehicle, but Russian, so it shoots bigger caliber rounds, and it's just huge.
Sure.
And they could do it with the crew aboard,
Wow.
which is insane.
That's
Can you
insane.
imagine?
Yeah, that's
getting-
crazy.
I could imagine.
Oh,
I would do. Have you guys ever seen, what is it, the A-Team?
yes. When
The new one, the new movie where they drop the actual tank out of the actual plane and they're like, let's just use a normal parachute to stop this tank and aim for the water. Because no, that's how physics works.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I want to fly a
Hated it.
tank.
The only reason it worked is because of Mr. T driving.
I would like to fire a tank while flying a tank. That would be very fun.
That's what they did in the movie.
That's in the movie.
Oh,
That's how they
I haven't
flew
seen
the
A-Team
tank.
since 2010 or whenever it came out. But
It's about like that, yeah. But anyway, yeah,
should watch
that's
it
the
again.
beautiful. That is
Wow,
the
it's been a
beautifulness
decade.
that is the Antinov A40. I just love that it existed. I just love that someone was like, "What if we strap like this is the most fourth grade invention I've ever seen in my entire life, and it brings me so much joy."
That's like the world's first Amazon drone.
Hi,
It's
Amazon
like-
here to kill some Nazis. Like, I mean,
And you just get an email, and there's like, your tank has been delivered, and it's just like a picture of a war zone with the tank somewhere in there, and like, this is where we left it.
you know that if the military farmed out that much stuff, like eventually it would be like the military is just getting emails like, your electronic super soldier has been delivered. Now inserting, now destroying insurgents. Like, just
Yeah,
it's kind of terrifying. Wow, that's
Yeah.
very Skynet. Anyway, that's
it
what
could
I had.
happen.
That's my Ryan's ridiculous history, and now it's time for Dan's LGBTQ perpetrates.
LGBTQs for the streets. I mumbled that, but yeah, you get it.
Yes, you did.
I have two questions for you guys today.
Okay.
First question: what is your favorite LGBTQ film that isn't Love, Simon?
I've never seen Love, Simon, so
Good.
you got me on that one.
Thank
Okay.
God.
Oh my gosh, noted.
I'm gonna
What do you
I'm gonna
qualify as?
give you an answer because I know you're gonna hate it, and I like saying this stuff.
Okay.
The Prom, the new one
No.
with James Corden.
No. No.
What? No, Dan, you didn't. A gay guy? It wasn't a good.
It has a gay guy. It has a stereotypical
As
gay
a
guy being
gay
played by a
man.
stereotypical straight man. It's like the weirdest.
Far from a stereotypical straight.
True.
Yeah, come on, James
I'll
Corden's
give that to
not.
him. I'll give that to him. He is pretty gay. First,
Look,
he's
look,
like Ryan.
James Corden compared to
Ryan,
me
like,
makes me
it's
look like a bastion of hetero. Wait, hold on. Did you just say? Wait.
Now, so I have a couple thoughts about it. If you haven't seen the movie, it's still a good play. It's still a good musical. You should watch it. Maybe skip the one on Netflix, although the rest of it's really good. But the problem that I have isn't so much about James Corden. It's a little bit of blame, I think, goes on the casting director for even just thinking about casting a straight man to play a gay character, because we're past that. We don't need that anymore. I think it'd be easier to just have a gay guy and just be like, hey, you know what, be you, you know?
Hey, you want to find a British gay guy to play a British gay guy or an American gay guy? I'm right here, baby. I'm right here. I can do it.
Now the other thing with that, is that a lot of the blame absolutely goes on, and this is most of the blame, goes on the director for making him act that way.
Yeah.
You can give an actor a script, and regardless of like what they are, James Corden could have crushed being a gay guy because like we've seen him in real life. He's basically that anyway, just like with a weird, doesn't like the right type of person. But the director was making director decisions of being like, hey, I need you to play this up. I need you to be as stereotypical and as extravagant of a gay man as you can. Instead of being like, hey, I want you to act like James Corden.
Yep.
So I like you can get mad at
I think
James
it was
for
also just the
accepting role,
accent though
but-
too. I think it
Okay.
just added that
Yeah.
element of like I feel attacked sort of thing. You know what I mean? And that's and like you said, I think that's all on the director as well. It's just like if you're gonna get James Corden to do something, don't make him American because
Yeah,
he
I mean,
clearly.
if he can act it, like put him in it. But if you're gonna direct him in a way that is just terrible,
Not
like,
yet.
yeah.
About
If you're-
it.
if
I do
you're
agree that the
James-
story is good though. I agree that the like
Yeah.
as a play and the concept, it's really interesting. Yes.
Also, Dan, mine's
Absolutely.
not a film, but mine's the TV show. Please Like Me. If you haven't seen it, it's an Australian show that got picked up, and now it's they finished the season. I don't know. Have you seen it?
I don't know if I've seen that.
Dude,
You've watched a show that's more wow.
Dude, it's so
I'm
good
shook.
though. It's so good because it's really about this guy like
I'd be
kind of coming out
primed.
and what it means to him, but like but also like the way that like his family and everybody around him is interacting with not even there's things it's not even necessarily like it is a large part of it, but it's still a diversified show with everything else that's going on. That's where it feels like, oh yeah, because gay people also live lives that have more diversity than just. And it was written by the gay protagonist. The protagonist is the writer, and so he delivers it perfectly because he wrote it. And so it's
that's my main.
Yeah.
I think that's my main reason in asking that question. Is like, do people like the stereotypical gay story of like all this other like random stuff, or I don't know. I wish that Hollywood would start moving exactly towards that kind of media content where it's like gay people can do other things. They don't just have to be like coming out to their parents 24/7.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's
Well, it just
interesting.
feels like why don't we have a
It
good
doesn't
story?
always have to be a gay coming of age story.
Yeah. Why
And
don't we have
why
a
is
good
it always
story?
a white twink? Right? That's another thing that I'm like, well, okay, we're just I
Because
don't know.
look, Hollywood hasn't really been kind to straight white skinny men ever. So like this is kind of like their like comeuppance.
We are
Oh,
really
sorry.
diversifying, guys.
This time.
We are
Gay.
changing it up. James Corden is going to play a gay guy. He's bigger. He's bigger than a twin. Crazy. He's a bear.
No,
He's a bear, guys.
I don't even know what films I've seen that are LGBT. And like, this isn't to say that I like avoid LGBTQ films by any means.
No, that's
It's
what
like,
you're
I
saying.
just
They're just
watch
not as
films.
popular, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't even think I just watch films, and I guess if there's like gay characters, I don't even notice. It's just like it's a thing. It's just part of the movie. Like it's not like a
Well, that's the
wow.
way it
'cause
should be. You know what I mean? Like it's
Well,
just yeah.
I'm also.
I
not a
guess I
gay
meant
man,
like
so-
what yeah, like under what when I say LGBTQ film, I guess I mean like with LGBTQ characters in the main character role.
Right.
You know,
And that's kind of
leading
like a
the
main
story,
plot
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
By the way, Dan, if you are going to check it out, it's on Hulu. It's called Please Like Me. Josh Thomas wrote it, and he's written other things since then. I think he's got a new show that's coming out. This is not a plug for Josh Thomas, but if it is,
Hey,
you're
Josh Thomas.
fantastic. He's great. He does great stuff. Yeah, there's 4 seasons of it. It's just nice. It's very endearing. It's very much the whole premise. Please like me is so universal that it just is like I get it, man. Like
Oh yes. Okay, yeah. This I've seen trailers for this. Yeah. Okay. My new TV show for the week.
dude, it's binge worthy.
I'm gonna
It's so
binge
good.
the whole thing. And then the second question I have for you guys is boxers or briefs, and also why not a jockstrap? Thoughts?
Boxer briefs, because
Okay.
I like low length, but I also like to be comfortable.
Okay.
And why not a jockstrap? I don't even know what I'm gonna have to look up. Isn't that what you wear in
That's-
sports?
Those are I was about to say that's what they're like.
Yeah,
to
so I
put
wear
on
it
It's
for
for the
sports.
fashion. It's for the fashion, baby. It's comfort.
I was
that
never
ass- let that
comfortable in
ass
jockstraps.
hang out.
I was never comfortable in wearing jockstraps and like sport. It was such a grip. Let it go. Yeah, that was my thoughts.
Ben.
Yeah, I also wear boxer briefs. And I mean, if I was gonna wear a jockstrap, I'd probably just wouldn't wear underwear. If you're gonna make me wear that little fabric, unless it's for a joke, I'm probably just not gonna wear underwear. It's pretty swampy in Florida as is. I don't need.
That's so gross, but so truthful.
You know? Ryan, right or wrong, the air is trying to choke you constantly.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, man, I'm surprised Kink Talk doesn't all live in Florida. Tell me I'm wrong.
I love it.
All the time.
Love it.
Hey.
And that's
Not this time.
There you go. That's my LGBTQs for the straights.
Woo!
Yay!
Love it.
Perfect.
And that brings us to
Ben's
Ben.
news.
Breaking news. All right, so we have 3 headlines. I have a few jokes for a couple of them and just one joke for the last one that will make a lot of people upset. So buckle up. I did not run this by anyone on the podcast.
Oh boy. The phrase "I wish you had" is going through my head right now, but let's hear them.
Ryan does not speak for the brand or the company.
I don't. I never do.
Or wait, other way around. I don't speak for Ryan.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
Ryan is a partner in this company, though, and he should be held accountable. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Wait, what? Well, wait, where did that come from? That felt aggressive. Yeah.
You're only going to get 33% of the prison sentence. Anyway.
I'm not going to do well there.
Or you'll do very
Or
well
do
there.
exceptionally.
Yeah.
You're going to survive, and that's all that counts.
Anyway, first one.
First, we have our first headline here. U.S. retrieves millions in ransom paid to Colonial Pipeline hackers. Just to remind the world that nobody does extortion better than us. This whole thing just kind of has the same feeling as letting a kid beat you in basketball and then he makes fun of you just a little too much so you actually start playing. Can we take a moment to appreciate how much of a power move this is? Like, some hacker group shut down all oil to the east coast of the United States, demanded and received a ransom, and then just like 3 weeks later, we go, okay, we'll take that back now. And it was only for like a couple $1 million. That's nothing to the government. That'd be like if at the end of John Wick, right before he kills the last bad guy, he just looked the guy in the eyes and went, I don't even like dogs. Bang.
I don't even like dogs. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I get that, like, the premise, and it's amazing they got it. I'm surprised they got it back, the money back. Like,
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised at all. Money? America?
yeah, I mean, don't get me
We
wrong, I
don't
think-
need it, but we want it.
But well, the premise of like you can steal from us and fine, that would be a scary thing. That would be so bad. But I do love the
Yeah.
idea of John Wick. Just
It wasn't even my dog.
yeah, right. Like I was house sitting. Bang. Just
I just like the idea of the guy, like, right before he dies, he looks at John Wick and goes, all this for a dumb dog? And John Wick goes, no, I was bored. Just all this because I could. Click, clack.
Well, I would just like to see the alternative version where the bad guy's like, you did all of this over a dumb dog, and John Wick's like, oh my god, I've killed so many people for a
You're
dog.
right. You're right.
Oh my god, I've killed people for a dog.
Am I a sociopath?
Next headline, the scandal rocking the evangelical world. Check out these exclusive TMZ photos of Jesus Christ himself having a drink with a known prostitute. I wrote these jokes last week, so like, I have to remember that. But, I just feel like it's really fun. This is something. It's just really funny whenever the evangelical world has a new scandal because they're like, Did you read the book? So the scandal, quote unquote, in question here is about some dude stepping down as a pastor, but on his way out, he wrote a letter condemning the board of directors of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention for being racists and sexists, which is a good thing that he did this. But it's a good thing that he called him out. I'm just upset over the use of the term scandal in this headline because that would imply it's something we didn't already all know.
Can you repeat that? What is it called? The society?
The evangelical. Yeah.
So it's he stepped down, and he was the director, or he wrote a letter condemning the board of directors of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention.
Oh, it sounds like one of those venues you perform at. It's weird.
Yeah, no, it's just too long a name. Yeah, the True by Hilton Ocean.
By Marriott. The ethics board of the Evangelical Church at Marriott.
Oh man, it's so funny to see people react so violently to this story. In the Bible, there's an actual story where Jesus literally walks into a church that's being run the wrong way, and then he starts flipping tables and screaming at people. This is the modern day version of that, and it shouldn't shock anyone. It's almost as if none of them actually read the book.
Well, it's also like he wrote a letter. Like, that's the least aggressive, least scandalous thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, can you imagine if every time we got a DM that was someone like saying something crazy to us, that it was like scandal? It's like, no, that's kind of like what
I'm gonna write a letter.
Yeah, right. Like that's
It's just
pretty
that white chick
massive. I don't
scene
know.
where it's like.
Yeah, it's not like he wrote a letter and it contained anthrax. Like that would have been a scandal.
He wrote a letter
really
and
funny
we
if you
canceled
wrote
his
the
gym
letter.
membership.
Yeah. I also just love the fact that because I said anthrax, now this podcast gets a few extra listeners. Hello, NSA. Good to see you. Like, happy to have you
FBI
here.
Agent in my phone.
Miss you guys.
I think it would be better if he wrote the letter, walked into the church, put the letter on a table, and said, "I resign," and then flipped the table.
Going out like my man JC. Boom.
Yeah, just boom, boom. That one's for JC. And then he leaves. Okay, this is the last headline. Religious freedom versus LGBTQ rights. Supreme Court sides with Catholic foster care agency. Basically what happened was the Supreme Court ruled that a Catholic foster care agency can deny parents for being gay, which is awful. But in their defense, all of them were probably just thinking, well, we're gay and we shouldn't be around children.
Oh, there it was. There it was. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love that smile. Just a pleasant.
You guys like it?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good joke. People are gonna be mad for sure. Oh,
I'm gonna make the right
I'm glad you
people
didn't
mad.
tell us beforehand. That was.
I was not prepared for that.
Dan just hid in his shirt to hide.
Oh my gosh.
You're not prepared for it. And
That's how comedy works. Yeah, that's the shock.
People are gonna get mad at me, but like the people that are going to get mad at me are the people that I don't want to be happy with me.
Yay!
I feel like that's.
And then there's Ryan.
Yeah, well, I guess. Like, hey, one of my favorite shows is called Please Like Me. Okay, do you understand where? Do you understand where I come from? Also, like, I will say this: you managed to hit something without, like, you know, everything is so. I don't know how you do politics. It's so impressive. Like, of course, I have political opinions, but then I'm like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't. It's just
Squash them down.
Away.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going on the
put 'em in
internet
a
to check
box
for
and put
political
them on the
opinions,
shelf.
and you're like, you know whose ones I care about? Youth Pastor Ryan, the comedian that says he looks like a youth pastor. You are in the wrong neck of the woods.
I dress up as the state of Florida. And people are like, yeah, no, this guy has the right up. This guy is good to listen to. And I have to tell people all the time, don't mistake me for the news. I'm just a guy who writes jokes in a silly hat.
We do love your hat, though.
Thank you.
All right.
That is all of the news stories that I have written.
Ben's
about
breaking
this week.
news.
So that brings us to our final section, the audience submissions.
Which order should we go for this, since it's not color coded?
We'll just start with the regular order with you first.
Cool. Got it.
And then so we're gonna do 10. We're gonna answer 10 audience submission questions. And if you want to listen to us answer all of the audience submission questions that we've gotten this month, you can actually sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/GDFM podcast. And once a month, we will answer all of the audience submission questions that we did not get to on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeesh. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun to film.
We have to do it soon, by the way.
Yeah, we do. We'll do it when I get back home.
Okay.
Savannah B's got a question. She said, if you had the power to mess with time, why not stop COVID-19 before it started? It's just me in China with a shotgun killing bats. I don't know which one it is, but I'm stopping it.
I thought that joke was going somewhere different, but I'm glad you said bats. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, right. That was
Ryan
really
is
close to being the worst thing anyone has said on this podcast, and I've set that bar pretty high.
You know what's funny is that you guys, I can't believe you guys even thought that, because that literally didn't even cross my mind. I was going to go kill people. Good Lord. My God.
I was just like,
you two are monsters. I didn't even,
We didn't say it. We were actually mad at you for the potential of
they have the
thinking
potential of making.
But it wasn't even a
It shows where our
potential.
faith is in Ryan. We're like,
I love listening
he
to you
could
guys
say
work
anything right now.
as I work the graveyards and shift people monsters. Anyway, my question is for all of you guys, what is your favorite women's sports team?
The Orlando Pride. The Orlando Pride is the women's soccer team in Orlando. Alex Morgan is a part of them, and she's another one of the loves of my life.
Alex Morgan, yeah.
This is-
I mean, she's a pretty, yeah. She's
And
pretty
she's
great.
first of all an amazing soccer player. Second of all, very attractive. But the first part is the important part here. For the most, I'm attracted. Look, this podcast every few weeks. You guys
We're not
going to
tell Gracie, but we're going to get Alex on here.
Yeah, you get every few weeks. You guys just find out I'm attracted to another talented brunette.
Can we just put this all together and like at the year end we just invite all of the women that Ben is in love with onto the podcast, and it's just like
We don't have enough microphones for that.
oh my
I'm a
God.
very talent-oriented person, so if you just present to me a woman that's talented, I'm like, yes, okay, for sure, we can get married.
Also, I gotta be honest, I don't really watch sports based off teams like male or female. I just watch sports when I want to watch like I like
Okay,
football.
stop beating around the bush. Just say that you don't watch women's sports.
I don't watch men's sports either though, so that feels like kind of
Yeah.
like you're setting me up to be sexist, but I'm not. I just don't watch
Ryan hates
But
women.
hates
No!
women. Yeah,
Ryan just doesn't watch.
we were both thinking it.
Look, here's the thing. The only time I watch sports is American football, because I
When
actually
there's
do
not
love
a
American
woman
football.
to be seen.
Oh, or hockey. Hockey's awesome.
Hockey's fun.
It's got a jail in the sport. That's so cool. I would watch any type
Wait.
of hockey. I watch Little League hockey. It's so funny because like if you've ever seen, they've got like little championships, and they got like, you ever seen like the highlight reels of it? It's hilarious because it's people that are 3 feet tall just plowing
Ryan.
into each other, and it's hilarious. It's so
Ryan.
funny.
Ryan,
Yeah.
I want to remind you that the question specifically asked what your favorite women's sports team is.
And I don't have a favorite women's sports team. I don't watch because I don't watch based on team.
Because you
No,
hate women.
Ben,
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, we're right back to it.
Do you have
And
a favorite
Dan, do you have
women's
one?
sports team? Okay,
Actually,
thank you.
just fun fact. My
Never mind that. Yeah.
We're just having a conversation off air right now. I guess
fun fact: my sister actually played for the national soccer team, women's soccer team for Zimbabwe. She was the goalie
Wow.
in a couple games. Well, I don't even know if it was a couple games. Maybe just one game. But she was the first white woman to play on the Zimbabwean, and that audience went insane. Like, I don't know why.
Happy or mad?
Happy. They were happy. But
Okay.
yeah, it's
That's so funny to me.
because I went
Zimbabwe's like progress. Like,
the people with privilege are doing the things. Yeah, no, it was. Well, it was just interesting. I mean, I grew up in a kind of a society, a racist society, where white people had white things or considered particular sports or events or activities as white, and so you weren't fully white unless you did those things. And if you went outside that box, it was weird.
I lived in America my whole life, so I wouldn't know what that was like at all.
also, by the way, I just thought about it. Female biathlon. I will watch the heck out of that when it comes to the Olympics because I watch all biathlon because I just think it's so
You
cool.
could have picked any sport.
See, Ahmed's was Brazilian volleyball team, and why does his sound more sexist than mine? It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I sound like I'm more in
No.
the right there, right?
You said female biathlon.
Yeah, he's a female
You
male
just said
biathlon.
all women running. And Ryan's like, "Oh, that excites me when they run."
No, they're skiing and then they're shooting. It's so cool. I love that sport. I think it's so cool.
But also to just
that's
answer
great.
the question, the LA Sparks, Seattle Storm,
Okay.
a couple of those. Yeah, those are the ones I kind of watch. I am gay, so I don't watch sports in general. The only time I watch sports is when my brother watches, and he does watch women's sports, so valid.
You lucked out.
Go Robert Spencer.
Yeah, Robert Spencer. Good help. I need Robert Spencer.
Cool. Next question. Sandra B, welcome from Australia. Guys, we're in Australia now. Thought you'd like this news
Good on.
video. Thanks for answering my message
we don't
last
have to
week.
click on it.
Okay.
She just wanted to say thanks for answering a question from last week, and she sent us a link to a news video. I assume is probably in Australia.
Sweet.
We don't have to watch it. We're just we're not right now, Dan. We're
We
in
don't
the
have.
middle of a
I mean, you can
podcast.
ask the next question, and I'll just watch this.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Was coming,
Holly
and now he's going to
says,
come in and
"Hi,
eat it,
I love
and
the
I'm gonna
podcast, guys.
shut
I'm familiar
myself.
with Ryan and Ben
Oh my
before, and
lord!
it's been cool to get to know Dan's personality as well. Are y'all ever gonna do merch? What
This
might
thing's
it
like
be?
only needed
I had an
from
idea of a
us.
T-shirt with a GDFM pocket logo and a choose your character situation on the back. How do you think each of you would be represented in that?"
Oh my.
Like if we just did little chibis, I think that would be funny. In which case, I'd be in my flannel and my khaki
wrestling
pants and my little boots.
Yeah. So I think we will do merch eventually, but there's still like a lot of behind the scenes technical like business stuff that we haven't really had time to get done for the podcast. Like we have to get an actual like official logo and all that first, but yes, we will be getting merch. I do like the idea of a choose your character situation. I'm kind of picturing sort of like an animated cartoony style for it.
Yeah.
But who knows? Time will tell.
I'll just be what's his name? L. Wiggin.
Oh
Whatever the
yeah,
heck
from that meme that's
was.
going around where all three podcasts with these three guys and it's freaking.
We need to put that in
Dad
post.
from Inside Out.
You need to add that in post, because
Oh, yeah.
I felt
I am
attacked.
obviously the dad. I'm the dad from Inside Out.
I'm Linguini, which both is like nice and hurts. Like at least I'm a protagonist.
At least you
I've
guys aren't
never
the guy
seen
who
Inside
stole
Out.
Woody from. You guys are at least like good people in those narratives. I'm the guy who stole Woody in Toy Story 2. Like I'm balding, I'm fat, like I'm just. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, they really came for
Did
the
you-
throat in this one.
Did you have a rat control you to cook dinner to win
you
the
literally
heart of
dumber
woman
than a
you
rat?
spent most of
Like
the
is
wo-
that?
No, here's the deal, Linguini. Because what you did was just you were like, "Hey, this rat's a better cook than me. Maybe I'll put him under my hat and lie to everyone and win the heart of a woman, lying to her about my cooking skills and whether or not a rat is controlling me." I've never seen Inside Out. I have nothing to say about me.
Yeah,
And
right,
Ben
that's
is
fair.
Ben is just the hottest dad in any Pixar film.
Well,
so.
his dad. I will say the dad. I think is controlled by anger, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And that's there's that.
So it's pretty
Yeah,
accurate.
Ben. You're so
No, no.
angry, Ben.
But it's because there's no petty one. It's like, why'd he win? He was just
No.
bored. There's no bored emote. Yeah.
Oh, well, there needs to be.
Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Desiree R., I can't get enough of your podcast now. Great you 3 click. Thanks so much, Desiree. My question is, for 24 hours, you can break into anyone's home and not be arrested, but you can only steal things that inconvenience the people. What are you stealing and why? Oh my gosh. Ben, why do I feel like you have a primed answer for this?
I have 2 ideas, but I wouldn't even steal anything. I would break in, I would do something, and I would leave, and it would minorly inconvenience them. I would unplug slow cookers, and I would put thawing meat back in the freezer.
That's so petty.
And then I would leave.
I would, if this is happening, I would unscrew all of their light bulbs just enough so that they wouldn't turn on, but enough that they're still hanging there. So it's like, what is going on? I would steal toothbrushes because I just think that that's petty. Let's see. I'm trying to.
I have an idea based off of what you just said. I would take scissors and I would cut half of the bristles off the toothbrush. I would cut them in half. So your
Oh,
toothbrush
pretty
is
good
now
one.
only Like instead of being like a full whatever half an inch of bristle, it's now just a 1/4 inch bristle.
I would poke holes in all of the liquids that they own.
them.
I'm talking tiny little holes in like orange juice.
I like how they
and,
were like, hey, you guys can steal anything, and you guys are just like, vandalism. That's what we want to do. I don't
we're
want to
stealing
do
their
that.
will to live
I just
right
wanna-
now. That's
I
what
just
we're
wanna
doing.
Hurt these
all I
people
ever wanted to
emotionally.
Oh yeah.
What
I'd
about
poke
you,
holes in like
Dan?
toothpaste, orange juice, shampoo, like everything. So it's just a little and enough, and it's at the bottom. They can't do anything about it.
I don't know.
You're the
What
one.
would I do? I'd go into like Jeff Bezos' house and steal his Black American Express card. Like that's what I would do, because that would be
Ooh.
beneficial
that
for
would
me.
minorly inconvenience him.
That probably
Yeah.
would minorly inconvenience him. I don't know. Also vandalism. I don't know. I just want to break into a house.
Break into Jeff Bezos' house and then solve world hunger, and he'd be like, "Wow, this is a minor inconvenience." God,
Quickly
now I have
donate.
to-
Just like
ugh.
input his card into a whole bunch of charities. A
And
whole
he's
bunch
just
of
like,
credit
man,
card info.
it's gonna take me a whole like week to get this money back. It's crazy.
It's valid. Valid. There you go. Perfect. Next question. Elijah G. Hey, y'all. I'm a huge fan of the podcast and listen to every episode that gets released. Storytime is my favorite too, Ben. I'm listening.
Thank you.
In my listening, I've realized that I relate to all of you so hard. Here are my messages to all of you. Ryan, I need your help. This is how I relate to you. I recently realized that every human I know thinks
Hey.
Oh, hold on. I recently realized that every human I know thinks I am gay. Someone sent something to an Instagram page for my school outing me by anonymously saying they had a crush on me. They are a boy, and all of the boys following the account are baseball boys, and it scares me. The worst part, no one questioned it. No one thought maybe I should ask Elijah. I found out because someone posted on their story congratulating me for having someone having a crush on me. What is that called, by the way? Anyway, how do I come out as straight to all of my lifelong family friends? Apparently, they think I'm gay too. It's a mess.
I just want to let you know, Elijah, no matter how many times you come out as straight, no one will ever believe you're straight. And that's what I've learned. That is literally, I have dramatically, and I've dated women exclusively because I'm into women, and I don't know what to tell. Like, homie, unless you're releasing, like, you're going full Kim Kardashian, I don't think you're gonna be able. Like, there's just no. I don't know, man. That's the weird thing. It weirds me out how people fixate on certain people's sexuality. That always blows my mind. But
Do you want my opinion? You
Yeah.
don't.
No, but yes.
Confuse them.
Of course, that's Beth's response.
Make it way worse for everyone except
Lean into
except
it.
for you. I need you to accept that nobody is ever going to believe you no matter what you say. So tell them anything, the only thing that makes them the most confused and uncomfortable. They're baseball boys. They probably are a little homophobic. Don't say that you're gay. Just imply it.
My suggestion is start dating women, but start implying that they're your beards. If you're gonna take Ben's approach, like I'm just here because it
I'm
wouldn't be
here for the
accept-
tax write-off.
Yeah, it's just like
And
what?
if you want to go deeper with it, tell everyone something a little different.
Oh,
I don't want anybody at your school to have the same thought about you than anyone else at your school. You are a walking enigma, and when you die in 40 to 90 years, people are going to be like, was he real?
Honestly,
exist?
that's kind of goals. I would really like. I can't believe I just used that term, but I
Honestly, Elijah, can you do this and let us email us back to let us know how it goes?
just go
'Cause,
off.
Because also,
Queen
here's the thing:
King.
you're no matter what
Do your
anyone else
thing.
thinks about you, you know you, I know
Yeah.
me, and in the end, that's all that matters.
That's honestly all that matters. Honestly, yeah, like be an enigma. If you want to wear a dress, rock a dress. If you want to, I don't know, it's just weird.
So,
just do the thing
I-
that you're comfortable with.
I used to
don't
do
know.
this a lot when I was in the military because a lot of the men were a little homophobic, whether like outwardly and accepting of it or not. They'd had a lot of homophobic opinions. So I would just kind of lead them to believe that I was at least kind of gay. Like sometimes they'd be like, yo, how much money would it take for you to, suck a dick? And I would be like, you guys are getting paid? And then they would be like, are you being serious? And then I'd be like, I don't know. And then I would just walk away without ever answering an actual question. and not laughing at anything I said either. You have to do it fully dry and commit to being a confusing existence.
Valid.
I
Do
think
it.
it's so funny.
That's all I say.
Go for it.
Okay, Dan. Maybe this ties into the first thing. Oh. But I'm stereotypically gay. Oh, interesting. What we just
James
discussed.
Corden?
Like, I watch Drag Race. I'm a band kid. I'm sassy. I am loud. I am the most bold person you will ever meet. I, like you, would never golf cart through a forking tulip festival and agree that tulip festival should be purely for the gays. I will wear anything, dress, makeup, whatever someone hands to me, and it's just great. I love Gaga, although not enough to pay $500,000 for a dog. I am so stereotypically gay. I thought you would enjoy that. I do. I thoroughly enjoy that. If you want to act gay but just straight, look at how successful Ryan is. It works so well. You want to make that money. Follow Ryan's pursuit.
This is not my strategy for life is not gay bait. I want to clarify that. Like that's, oh my gosh.
But I will say that again, back to Ryan's point of if you want to be yourself, be yourself. And back to Ren's point, be an enigma. Who cares what people think of you? It's more fun to play around with those ideas and confuse the hell out of people because that's going to ultimately lead them to maybe, hopefully, a little bit more of progressive perspective. And so, yeah, I say I'm happy for you. Go off, Elijah.
A lot of things don't matter, and your sexuality spectrum is one of those things. So why care what other people think yours is?
Exactly. Perfect. Wonderful.
And then the last.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ben. I relate to you because I am you. I have contemplated this, and your best warrior competition stories are me in math class. I am in a high cap math class, the equivalent of the BWC for me, and I have never studied in my life. Somehow I ace every math test. How, I don't know. My math teacher is quite literally the Sargento. What is that? Sargento?
Well, it's a type of cheese. I think they meant to say sergeant, but be silly with it.
Oh, okay, Sergeant. Yes, no, the cheese brand. They just clarified that. I can't spell the real word and don't feel like Googling it, and that would be that you would joke with. Also, I really love your Alaska and New York characters because they quite literally hate everyone and everything at every given time. Also, did you ever DM that band lady that you have a crush on? Anyway, thank you all for reading this long donkey message I have composed for you.
Don't worry,
I feel like this is like, why am I always reading the long messages? I feel illiterate. I feel so illiterate sometimes.
We'll break those up for you later.
I'll be on, but to be honest, the only reason that I struggle reading is because I don't have glasses. So, and I need them.
Oh, well, maybe
ASAP.
you should do that.
I should get
Dan.
glasses, guys. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm blind. I don't know how to fix this.
They all blend, weirdly enough. But yes, Ben, back to you.
I have not DM'd Gracie Lawrence yet, but
We're waiting.
it probably will happen.
We're waiting.
So, all right. Next question is from to Paul S. That's my best guess for how to pronounce your name right now. Hey guys, this is a question for Ryan. Where did the name Youth Pastor Ryan come from?
So I have had literally, like, before I even got on text, like, I had hundreds of people throughout my life come up to me and be like, "Are you a youth pastor?" Just like out of the blue for no reason. And so because of that, I was like, because stand-up, when you're being self-deprecating, you have to be very, like, you have to be aware of what you look like. And so I was very aware, and so I started making jokes about that. And that's how I used to start off my shows. It's like, I'll just give you guys a second to make your own guess of what I am. No, I'm not a youth pastor. Yeah. And
have you watched youth pastors do comedy?
No.
Oh, it's horrible.
Okay, no.
I have seen it 3 times now, and okay, but they crush. I'm sure. No, they crush at youth group. Regular audiences, bad.
Not made
I
for
have
that.
Seen them bomb.
But yeah, so that's where that name came from. Is I had to pick a name, and my Ryan Kelly comedy was already taken, I think, for some reason, and so I was just like, Youth Pastor Ryan, and here we are. Got really out of hand. By the way, Dan, trade with me on this next one. You read the next one. I'll read the one after.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I was like, it comes again. Here it is again.
I read at the speed of sound, so we might as well just
here we go.
Let me take those.
Okay, Jennifer W. Ben would be Loki after listening to episode 13. The question where they asked what hero/villain you all would be. Do you agree with this? Follow up, if you guys had to write a hero action movie, who would you play? What would the plot be? And who would be your superstar actor?
That's a lot. I guess I agree with Loki. He has more motivation than I think I would have though.
Yeah.
Like he has like big goals and stuff, and none of them are just to exist.
For grand purpose. And then there's Ben who's like
Yes.
for purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For word.
For
I'll do it for $1,000, but that's all I'll do it for.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like a pretty good example, analogy, whichever one, but it's not perfect yet. As far as writing a hero action movie, who would you play? Who do you guys think that you would play in a hero movie?
Definitely like
I've
the spy type.
I've
because
already
it's like,
written out an entire superhero movie,
what?
but I'm saving it. That's for
Nice.
when I get big
Oh.
budget film budgets.
Okay.
I like
When I've
that.
made a name for myself and I can do that. But yes,
I think I'd be
Can I give you guys a hint of what it is?
absolutely. You can
Yes.
tell us whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna
man.
give you
Sure
two
thing.
characters. I'm gonna give you two characters right now.
Okay, it's
Okay.
a
I
porcupine.
don't know yet.
And an actual
I don't know
rock.
yet. These are just names that that have been with me. I actually wrote this comic book when I was 16, and I have
Whoa.
made a script out of it.
like
The two main characters that I really want to focus on are two characters named Thunderclap and Tits. They're orphans.
No.
The storyline is
No.
that the world has been taken over by these skinny alien race that is trying to keep people from the truth, which is that fat isn't gross. In fact, it's an energy source, and it can give you superpowers.
I actually
You can tell
love
I had a lot of like weird like body.
this
issues.
screams
No.
16-year-old fat Dan being
No.
like, I got it.
Got it.
No,
But,
and this is just a totally normal
Thunderclap-
thing that all of us have thought at one point in life, and there's no other repressed feelings or bitter thoughts at all. This is actually just like a good idea you had one day, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is not based on anything.
Anyway, so Thunderclap creates shockwaves. She smacks her fat, and she can create shockwaves, and she's hand-to-hand combat, super strength, everything like that. And then there's
Sure.
Tits, aka Teddy, who his man boobs stretch out and are indestructible, and so does his stomach, and he fights using both his arms, legs, and stomach and boobs. So
Oh,
Sounds like a pretty
my
dope
God.
My Hero Academia character, to be
Are you-
completely
yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to say.
so that's my superhero, and I really want to play Tits. So that's my goal.
Who doesn't?
Right.
You know?
I want to do it myself. But we'll see. We'll see what happens down the line. We'll see what happens. But that's my action hero idea thing.
I don't have anything off the top of my head other than just Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. I feel like
Yeah.
that's probably the closest I could get is just an anti-hero of some sort.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
still go back. I still go back to Superman, Spider-Man, and Deadpool for both of you. Yay! That dynamic would be great.
That'd be fun. Sybil C. I want to start off by saying that you guys bring me joy and happiness. I'm standing behind a 500-degree oven on Sunday nights. What?
Pizza.
More mortician. Like crematorium.
So illiterate.
You would be sitting in front of the oven.
Oh, that's true. This podcast introduced me to Dan, who is an absolute delight, and I hope to be able to travel to see his show. Ryan, you were one of the first people I started following on TikTok. Thanks! You have brought many smiles and laughs over the past year. I love your energy, and even though you're tall, I still want to put you in my pocket and just show you off to everyone. That's so sweet. I got to do that with all the TikToks I share. Thank you so much for sharing the TikToks.
Hey! Look, this is Ryan.
I'm a pocket boy. Ben, you are my spirit animal. I have yet to hear something that I do not find intriguing, hilarious, or that moment when you connect things I never did. The team is a great vibe. I honestly feel like I'm listening to my best friends and talking about random summer nights around a fire. That's so nice. Living with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and at the time undiagnosed ADHD made my 2020 a very scary place in my brain. Thank you, Ryan and Ben, for all the laughs last year. I'm so thankful I had the ability to listen to you guys, and with the bonus of Dan while I'm working. I would like to ask you guys a question that I personally enjoy asking because it throws people off as they stumble later. What is your favorite constellation and why? Again, thank you for bringing smiles to my face and make me laugh on the hot days at work. Much love. Thank you so much for being here, Sybil. That's so nice. And my favorite constellation is either Orion's Belt. Is that right?
No. Okay.
I think the Andromeda Nebula is pretty cool. I don't think that's a constellation, but I think it's cool. It's cool that it exists.
Yeah.
Constellation.
Okay. You're not gonna recover from that Orion's belt thing.
But it was nice. It makes me happy. I'm a star.
Aww.
Thanks. You guys both hate it, but it brings me a lot of joy.
I like literally the only constellation that I enjoy finding is all of Orion. Like you start with the belt, but like I know where the rest of it is. And that's fun to point out. But the one that I like the most, I'm pretty sure is just a snake. And it's just 4 stars that kind of line up a little bit, and people are like, wow, look at that snake.
Is it Pisces? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know what it's called. It's just stars, and they don't look like a snake, but people way back in the day are like, wow, look at the intricate detail on those stars that are sort of lined up like a thing, kind of. Wow.
I am just recently looking up constellations because I don't know if I fully know all of them. I'm going to say my favorite is Scutum. Because that sounds...
I'm sorry?
What a great name.
Scutum. Scutum sounds like, the odd duck in the group.
Yeah, it sounds like the
I want to support
Little
Scutum.
Mermaid.
I want Scutum to be successful. I love Scutum. They sound great.
Apparently it was a type of shield.
I want you to stop saying that word.
Apparently it was a type of shield used to have a curvature.
Hate it. I
love Scutum.
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 You know what? I know what our ridiculous history fact is going to be next week.
Scutum!
Scutum shield. Let's talk about
I hate it. I have a very strong opinion about it.
Army of Ancient Rome. Starting in the 4th century BC.
Put it away. Put away my laptop.
Gotcha.
Ugh, gross. And I'm gonna have that in my search history. You know what? We're moving on.
Hey.
Sky says, hi, my name is Sky. I'm a trans woman, and for the submission segment, I had a question for Dan. Are you a, quote, be gay, do crime gay, or a John Mulaney voice, I just want to sit here and feed my birds gay? This is a very important question.
Ooh, this is a good one. I feel like I can be both, but I would say I'm mainly just a feed the birds kind of gay. I've just started a garden.
Yeah.
I started a garden. I did all that
moving?
stuff. I am moving, which just sucks. The guy just sent a message in the last week and was like, hey, P.S., I'm moving out of state and selling the house. You need to get out by August 1st. So I have a month to make that garden look great, but I tilled that soil. I made it all look fantastic and all for nothing. But yeah, I really like being that kind of gay. I like animals.
I think if Ryan were actually gay, he would also be I just want to sit here and feed my birds gay.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? Feed the birds, pet the otters. I'm gonna the Snow White of gays. That's what I'd be.
I'm just picturing you being like, ah.
Right, that's what I tried to do.
You would actually be like that, like.
Because that's how Anna's is straight, so I might as well I feel like it wouldn't change too much. Like I'd just be like, yeah.
I'm so funny.
If I were gay, you guys would see
what?
You guys would see a lot of if I were gay, you guys would see a lot of headlines that were like gay Florida man arrested once again for just various acts of arson. Maybe I think I would do all sorts of. But there would be a point. There would be a point for them.
No one else would be able to figure it out, but Ben would have a long list.
I'd be fighting on behalf of a marginalized community.
Yeah.
And boy, would I burn stuff down.
And boy, would it be tough to figure out which marginalized community. You're just watching. You're like, who is this for? Oh, it's for gay people specifically that have like Lyme disease and an essential tremor, but only both. Like,
is he doing this for the gays?
No.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah. Oh.
Fun.
I would have a cult. I would have a cult. Following.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you to read this.
I was also going to say, let me take this last one.
Yes, thanks.
This is from Megan. I'm not going to lie, I'm really late on seeing this email, but it is in regards to Ryan's Ridiculous History segment, particularly the one about the Challenger Space Shuttle. So I'm a native Floridian, born and raised in Polk County, Florida. Yee. And elementary school, I went to a very unique high school or elementary school with a unique mascot. And I say unique because you're probably thinking, oh, it's probably a gator or something super Floridian. Nope, not at all. My elementary school mascot was none other than the Challenger Space Shuttle. We had shirts with our school name on it and a giant space shuttle on the front. We were known as the Medulla Elementary Challengers.
Now that I'm
Aw.
older, I look back at all those photos and I'm like, wow, that's something special. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for doing a killer podcast. Also, thank you, Ben, for all the cringy army stories. Makes me miss the military, but not nearly enough to ever go back.
I like that you called
That's
it
what I like to
photos.
hear.
What?
Photos. You did say photos.
Those
Photos?
old photos.
There's a photos. Oh man,
The
Missouri.
old Missourian
I
man came out inside of you. Your grandpa.
I have just a little bit of
Just like a grandpa
fun
came out.
show and tell for this episode right now because Megan said that they're from Polk County. I was given a gift at a show recently, a bobblehead of famous Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. And if you're watching the stream, you can actually see the bobblehead. It does bobble. It is signed by him on the base. Someone gave this to me at a show. Grady Judd is famous in Polk County for just being a psychopath.
Oh my gosh.
You can look up quotes from him. It's a very interesting rabbit hole to fall down.
Great.
But that is it. That is all.
Maybe that's
That is the
another.
whole-
That's
are
another
you guys
unique
gonna-
one.
I mean, I think just real quick, as we're here. Also, I'd like to say, how crazy is it that they looked at a whole bunch of kids? So my question is like, was it before or after the Challenger? Like, did they name it before?
It has to be after. If they named it before, they would have just changed it again.
They should. Oh man, that's just wild. Okay, by the way, this is what I'm just reading the comments because it took me to a video. But the reason we didn't arrest Eric is because he's dead. We thought it would be a waste of time just between you and me. What? What? Oh my gosh.
Fun.
Grady Judd.
I just want to know what that mascot looks like. Is it just like
You can't trust a fart
It's
when
an
you're over
animated
60.
shuttle.
That's a thing that he said.
Yeah.
Um.
During the protest, he went on live TV and he's like, if you're gonna be looting and rioting, you better stay away from Polk County, because we will shoot you.
Well, that's direct. You know, yeah.
Something very much along the lines of that. And
Hey, let's
people
go
were
to
like,
Hey,
"Oh
can we
my
go to
God."
Polk County?
Can
No.
we go meet him?
Polk County.
I just
No.
wanna see what, I just
Come
wanna see him
on,
roast
let's
all.
go riot,
No.
Ben.
No.
Come
No, he'd shoot
on.
us. We know
No.
this. Anyway, but
No.
Oh, I
that
forgot.
wraps this
Ben's
for
not
today.
gay. Ugh.
It's a beautiful thing that we shouldn't go get shot together, even as a podcast team.
Another episode of The Good, the Day, and the Florida Man is in the books. If
Dab,
you want to find
dab.
us outside of why? Okay, if you guys want to find us outside of the podcast, Ryan, where can they find
YouthBestRide.com.
you? Dan,
Oh,
Dan Bam Bam on all social
Dan-
media except for
Yeah, keep
on
reading.
Snapchat, which is Dan_YOLO_love.
and you
Hey.
can find me at benbrainard.com, spelled brain A-R-D. You can find the podcast and all of our links at gdfmpodcast.com. You can also email the podcast at podcast@gdfmpodcast.com. We love you. We thank you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Got him.